Heating, cooling, and insulation weather.
A slow improvement in our wet weather pattern is starting to take place. Still a little shaky this afternoon, but things are getting better. Mostly cloudy skies, a couple of scattered showers and thunder showers, though certainly not raining all the time. 77 for the high, mostly cloudy tonight. 62 Thursday, partly sunny, maybe a spot shower. That's about it. A lot of dry time Thursday. 75. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for their honor flight today at gsl.honorflight.org. And for HVAC services, aircomfortservice.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Oh, yeah, here's the moment you have been waiting for.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom.
Annie's out. Ryan and Brad are in.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
This is the Mannie Frey Show.
Hello, this is the Mannie Frey Show. As the Open just stated, Annie has the day off. I get that if you've been paying attention to the news at all today, that you are not going to come into this story cold, but let me try to paint a picture for you. I'm Ryan Wiggins. Brad Range is running the board. Ethan Hannaford will be in throughout the show as well. But there is news from this morning, and it involves crime. Now, let me walk you through this. If I said to you, and you were a Democrat politician, that there had been crime in America, would it pique your interest? And you say, well, we need to do something about that crime. Obviously, the answer is no, because there's constant crime, and the President of the United States is trying to do something about it in Democrat-led cities and states, and they don't want anything to do with it. They don't really want to solve crime, or else they would do something different than they currently are, but they want to keep things the same. If he said, well, yeah, but this crime is in Dallas, would that change anything? Well, that's a red state. Okay, they might be a little more piqued of their interest if you said it's in Dallas, because they wouldn't have to deal with it. But it's still run by a Democrat mayor. So could they do something about it? They're not. I mean, the answer is not even hypothetical. They're just not doing anything about that crime. Okay, what about if the crime became very specific? The crime was ideologically motivated. Does a Democrat politician get their interest piqued then? Ooh, yeah, maybe. We got to see what the motivation was, though. Okay, it involved guns. Oh, now I'm interested. I'm not interested in any other crime. I'm not interested in people getting stabbed on the bus. I'm not interested in any type of crime. Who cares about crime? But if it involves a gun, now all of a sudden I want to take that away. That's where I got interested right there, because I'm a Democrat politician and I do not care about crime unless you say the word gun for some reason. Trouble is, it continues to be people using guns ideologically on the same side as them. I'm not saying that this is them, but it is on that same side. They're targeting conservative things. Here's the report from Fox News.
Apparently, it occurred when detainees were being brought into the Sally Port. This shooter, we're not sure exactly where he was located, but was able to shoot into that Sally Port and struck at least 3 people. That shooter now is down from this self-inflicted wound, so we may not know exactly what his plan was, what they were intending to do, other than to shoot people this morning at an ICE facility. We're learning more as we get it. And particularly, we're interested, obviously, in learning about the conditions of the 3 individuals that were struck this morning.
So another ideologically motivated shooting going on, and this one anti-ICE. If you're not trusting the reporting, let's go to the BBC. They say that anti-ICE messaging was found at the scene of this deadly Dallas Immigration Center shooting. We're still waiting on the full updates. Right now, Fox News, I'm reading the Chiron, says sources say the gunman in Dallas, the ICE shooting, was a 29-year-old, and I just won't say his name just because. But that is what we're dealing with. This is a ideologically motivated shooting. We are, I think, exactly 2 weeks after Charlie Kirk was just assassinated. Through an ideologically formed shooting. And look, I'm looking at all of the stories. People are very reluctant on the left to say that this is ideologically motivated, but it clearly is, which is why I went to the BBC to say it said on some of the casings and I think some of the bullets, certainly the messaging was anti-ICE. He's shooting at ICE agents. So what do you think the motivation was? Here's another report from Dallas Police Chief Daniel Cormier.
Today at approximately 6:40 a.m., we received a city officer call. We responded to the call, got to the scene, and we later learned that we had 4 individuals that were shot, 2 of them deceased, including the shooter. The DPD was able to locate the shooter, who was deceased.
So this is happening today. As usual, what will happen is we will report on the event itself. We'll just go into like hard news coverage, which has been this morning. And then people will start to have pullaways from these things. And we'll ask, well, why? Why was he doing this? And as I said before, I think we know the motivation.
Early evidence that we've seen from rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ICE in nature. Again, this is just the most recent example of this type of attack.
So what will be the framing of this narrative coming out of this shooting in 2 weeks exactly to the date later from the assassination of Charlie Kirk? I can already tell you what it is because we've already seen it. It will be that it's about the guns, as we just stated, because that will pique their interest. We don't really care about crime unless it's about guns, and then we're interested because we want to take away guns. And then, secondly, this is a both sides issue. That will be the next narrative that will be pushed, that this is a both sides issue. Here's Ted Cruz.
This needs to stop. Violence is wrong. Politically motivated violence is wrong. It was 2 weeks ago today that we saw a political assassination in Utah that tore the heart out of much of this country. This is the 3rd shooting in Texas directed at ICE or CBP. This must stop. To every politician who is using rhetoric demonizing ICE and demonizing CBP, stop. To every politician demanding that ICE agents be doxxed and calling for people to go after their families, stop. This has very real consequences. Look, in America, we disagree. That's fine. That's the democratic process. But your political opponents are not Nazis. We need to learn to work together without demonizing each other, without attacking each other. And I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the brave men and women of law enforcement. I want to say thank you to the brave men and women of ICE and CBP and everyone who puts their lives on the line to keep us safe. The divisive rhetoric tragically has real consequences.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, it really, really does. I don't know how that we could see that any clearer than we are right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. He mentioned there this is the 3rd time that ICE has been shot at, but this isn't the 3rd time that ICE has been targeted with violence. I mean, we all saw the videos of them people throwing rocks at ICE. We saw the riots in LA and people targeting ICE there. Anytime ICE shows up, people go out and try to prevent them from doing their job. And then, well, I don't know, last week sometime or early this week, Gavin Newsom passes that law to prevent federal law enforcement, which he doesn't have the authority to do, but to prevent federal law enforcement from wearing masks. And he's like, what are you afraid of? Why don't you show your face? And I give you Exhibit 364.
Yeah, over and over and over, we have examples of this happening. And then California decides to dox those very people who are there to enforce the law. I can't believe this. I kid you not. I pulled up this story to see multiple headlines because I like to do that and just see how everybody's reporting on these things. And one of the headlines, because this is such a recent story, just happens to be from yesterday night, talking about how 6 people who were charged in an ICE facility shooting, and this is a previous one, were just happened to be jailed on were on federal hold in Wichita County. This is a story from yesterday. It's about a different shooting involving people targeting ICE. And then you have today's. And inevitably, what you're going to have is Democrat politicians coming out and saying, well, this is a both sides issue because that's what they've already done. That's the playbook. And we need to turn the temperature down. Meanwhile, Ted Cruz said that there, they will call people Nazis. And you can say, well, that's just the fringe. That's the Jasmine Crockett's. That's not the mainline Democrats. Well, first of all, I don't really know who the mainline Democrats are right now because it seems like it's those people because they get the most attention.
Well, I struggle to call anybody that is elected by a group of people in Congress the quote-unquote fringe. They might be the fringe in Congress, but they are still a representative of their district in Congress.
Another good point, although there would be people I would consider in the Republican Party to be like Marjorie Taylor Greene. She doesn't necessarily represent, doesn't directly represent me at all, but even she says things at times that I'm like, no, that's not really me. But she's in Congress, so you could say, well, is she mainline or is she not?
She represents her district.
I don't know, but when you talk about major political candidates, then you're definitely within the boundaries of mainline Democrat politicians, and they constantly are. They might not use the word Nazi as much as they used to because they realize that we call that out now. We go, stop saying Hitler and Nazi. That stuff. If you've studied history, you're making an abomination of what took place there in comparing it to something now is so ridiculous.
It's completely disrespectful to the people that suffered through the Holocaust, that suffered through the Nazi regime. It's completely disrespectful to them. Not only that, it's dangerous to call people that because we're seeing that people are reacting with violence, and that's not okay.
It amps up the rhetoric, and so what is happening is you will have now Democrats simultaneously, sometimes the same people out of both sides of their mouth, saying we need to turn the temperature down, and meanwhile, democracy is at stake.
I fear that we will not have an election in 2028. I really mean that in the core of my soul, unless we wake up to the code red, what's happening in this country, and we wake up soberly to how serious this moment is.
That, if you couldn't tell, is Gavin Newsom. Now, if you thought, I'm just pulling up some old clip. No, that's Gavin Newsom last night.
On Colbert.
On Colbert. So he was on Colbert last night, not Kimmel, as was the rumor was. So that was Gavin Newsom, the leading presidential candidate for the Democrats right now, saying that he fears that because Trump and whoever are such fascists, they're going to take control of this Democrat government, this representative government, and not allow elections. That is so ridiculous. But the point is that he's getting the message out there that these people, those people, the right, MAGA, are crazy. They can't be trusted. They're such extremists that extreme measures need to be taken to stop them. That's the message. And it's recent. It's not as if they've stopped doing it. However, in light of Charlie Kirk's death, who Gavin Newsom had on his podcast, I'll give him credit for that, he would say, we need to turn down the rhetoric. And then he just does this. At what point do we stop trusting these people? I think if you're listening to this show, you know we stopped a long time ago. But at some point, America has to wake up and see that these people are just playing around. They don't really, they're not serious about what they're saying because they're so inconsistent.
Well, they see what they're saying. Gavin Newsom's a great example. He sees what he's saying as a means to an ends. He knows that will get his base fired up, and he needs a fired up base so he can win. So he's looking at this and he's going, this is a good strategy to help me win elections. He is not concerned about the downstream ramifications of that, which we're starting to see because people are actually taking him seriously and not taking him for, like, it's not a metaphor that he's using.
Yeah. And by the way, not a hot mic situation where you caught him thinking by himself, talking to his cabinet. This is planned on Colbert.
I fear that we will not have an election in 2028.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Newsom. You fear that we will not have an election because of the people that you are up against politically are so far gone that they will stop democracy. Unbelievable. Well, in light of him being on Colbert yesterday, we are asking you in the YouTube live chat poll. It's not related to Colbert, but it is with Jimmy Kimmel, who returned to the air yesterday. Not here, because we have a Sinclair station here that's not airing him. But the question is, how long do you think Jimmy Kimmel will stay on the air? We have a number of options there. We'd just like to know what you think. And we'll give you some details about what we think as well, because we looked up the length of his contract, and I think that might play into things. But we'll see. That's all part of the show today, and we will talk about it next with Joe Concha, Fox News contributor. We love having Joe Concha. In fact, I think the longest interview I ever did was with Joe Concha once. We just went and went and went. So we'll try to keep it a little tighter, high and tight today here on the Annie Frey Show as Annie has the day off. This is Ryan Wiggins talking to Joe Concha next here on the Annie Frey Show.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands, or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Mark Reardon, and Annie Frey, along with Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group for the last Protecting Your Retirement educational event of the year. It's Thursday, October 2nd at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Here's Thomas with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering if your 401k and IRA will last through your lifetime? Do you have your own personalized structured income plan set up? The markets are hitting all-time highs. Would you like to learn how to automatically lock in your gains without having to sell? Did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you can't afford to miss the last event of the year.
Protect your retirement nest egg. Join the official financial advisor of my show, Thomas Helbig, at the Frontenac Hilton, Thursday, October 2nd at 6:30. Go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Attention St. Louis Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one who lives with you. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care, helping you with preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more.
A family member or friend that gets paid weekly. This Medicaid program is available to eligible St. Louis residents.
New to Medicaid? The Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. With over 7,000 five-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. If you live in the St. Louis area,
this service is available through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers can choose to get paid weekly. So go to freedomcare.com now, or for faster service, call 314-697-4912. 314-697-4912. That's 314-697-4912.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. If you're a renter, make sure you're protected. Renter's insurance includes options that cover stolen property, personal injury, and living expenses if your place is damaged. Quote Renter's Insurance at progressive.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
This show is not important. What is important is that we get to live in a country that allows us to have a show like this. I've had the opportunity to meet and spend time with comedians and talk show hosts from countries like Russia, countries in the Middle East, who tell me they would get thrown in prison for making fun of those in power, and worse than being thrown in prison. They know how lucky we are here. Our freedom to speak is what they admire most about this country. And that's something I'm embarrassed to say I took for granted until they pulled my friend Steven off the air and tried to coerce the affiliates who run our show in the cities that you live in to take my show off the air. That's not legal. That's not American. That is un-American, and it is so dangerous.
Joe Concha is here.
Oh,
Joe Concha, Fox News contributor.
Joe, hey, thanks for being here, even though Annie is gone today. Did you watch Jimmy Kimmel last night?
No. I'm not going to stay up and watch at 11:30, Ryan, when I could just watch the clips when I get up at like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. So, yes, I did see the monologue, and it is utterly infuriating. It's completely dishonest what he just said, saying that the Trump administration pulled Colbert off the air. No. Losing $40 million a year gets you off the air. When you don't have the ad revenue coming in anymore and you're not profitable and you're not sustainable, then it's not a constitutional crisis. It's not about free speech. It's about the free market. So for Kimmel to say that, it's like Russia, they're pulling comedians off the air because they're making fun of people in power. At last check, the Kimmel and Colbert have been making fun of Trump for the last 10 years. What, suddenly now he's offended? Or maybe, oh, that's right. This isn't about Kimmel challenging Trump. This is about Kimmel lying about the shooter of Charlie Kirk, saying that he was full-on MAGA. So after a while, maybe you just can't keep lying on the air and really angering some of your viewers and the affiliates like Sinclair and Nexstar. So fine, he could have his little bump and his little moment right now, but I can tell you that when the ratings come out, for next week, he'll go right back to third place, getting doubled by Greg Gutfeld, and Disney can continue to lose money, and that's their right. But again, this has nothing to do with free speech, and the fact that he is just making himself into more of a victim than Charlie Kirk himself just shows you everything about this clown who, let's put it this way, he has not had one conservative guest on in 3 years. 3 years. So don't tell me about free speech when you're deplatforming half the country in terms of the politicians that you have on so you could run the DNC on your show every night. It's just so insulting. That's the other way I could put it.
Yeah, and it's not just that he hasn't had anybody like center right at all on. It's that he doesn't invite them because that they would come on. There are certain shows that, we will invite Democrats onto this show, even sometimes local people who just won't do it because they're just afraid, I don't know, I want to control my narrative. That's not the case with Kimmel. If some big Republican politician were to go on that, be invited on that show, they would go.
Oh, in a heartbeat. Like a J.D. Vance would go tomorrow.
Exactly.
And wipe the floor with Kimmel, right? Because once you take him out of the teleprompter and his 17 writers, then he really doesn't know a heck of a lot about a heck of a lot. And even Ted Cruz played basketball with him against him a couple of years ago. Cruz beat him, by the way. And Donald Trump was even on the show 10 years ago. So, yeah, I mean, he's the exact opposite of Charlie Kirk, who would just debate anybody, anywhere, anytime. And he most embraced debating people that he disagreed with and did so in a civilized fashion. But that's Democrats now. It's not just Kimmel, but Colbert, same thing. I mean, last night, who does Colbert have on? Gavin Newsom. Who's he having the night before? Jake Tapper, Bernie Sanders. It's like, do we have any comedians around or big Hollywood actors that can entertain me in late night the way they used to on Letterman and Carson and Leno and Conan O'Brien? Nope. This is the formula now. And that's why their ratings are so bad, because they're telling half the country, piss off. We don't care if you listen to us or not.
Joe, I know that we're familiar because we're in the industry, but I know a lot of people aren't familiar with who owns what local TV station. So we're hearing these names, Sinclair and Nexstar now, and going, oh, okay. But if you don't know the background, I mean, here in St. Louis, Sinclair owns our ABC affiliate, so nobody watched Kimmel last night here unless they were watching it in clips, just like you and I did. But these are not, like Sinclair in particular I can speak to, they have been a conservative organization for a long time. They don't need a president to come in or the FCC to go, hey, now that we're here, we're going to turn the screws on you to get rid of these people we don't like. They already don't like them. It was a surprise that they had been running them this long.
Yeah, and they're not even really, it's A, not liking him, and B, again, if you're an affiliate and you could put on Celebrity Family Feud or Dancing with the Stars and get a better number when you don't have to pay anyone $16 million a year like Kimmel's getting paid or $20 million like Colbert, then why wouldn't you do that? I could take the toxic product off the air that angers a lot of our audience. That is so predictable, such an echo chamber, just not entertaining. Or I'll put on stuff that people actually like to watch that has no toxic element to it whatsoever. It's business. You could say, all right, emotionally we don't like Kimmel, I guess, but it's more, it's all about making money in this business. That's the way it works. And That's why, like, I hear, like, well, Joe Rogan, no one would ever take him off the air because he makes money. Letterman printed money. Carson printed money. That's why they stayed on the air for 20, 30, 40 years. And this is why Kimmel and Colbert, Kimmel will be going away. I mean, his contract's going to end. I can't see them ponying up another $16 million to lose another $30 million a year. But they're going away because of that. And when they tell their audience this, you see it then on CNN, MSNBC, everybody echoing what Kimmel's saying, that Trump somehow is personally involved in taking him off the air. Does Trump not like him? Yeah, probably. But Trump has much bigger fish to fry than Jimmy Kimmel and his 1 million viewers a night. That I do know.
Joe Concha, as somebody who could easily host a late-night talk show, I'm going to ask you an inside baseball question here.
Yeah.
Do you think there is a future? Because Gutfeld, we know, they're like a machine. They got 8 guys, and half of them are on the show, and that's why they are able to like crank it out and still be funny. But these Colbert, these Kimmel shows, I mean, they've got upwards of at least 100 staffers on these shows, so they cost a lot of money. Do you think personally that there's a future for this type of show? Not the Gutfeld style, they're obviously doing it, but the big traditional late night style show. Is there even a future for that?
If you could do it efficiently, then sure. Because when you think about it, why does Colbert need 100 staffers and a production budget of $140 million annually when 85% of the show is basically doing what we're doing right now, except on video, where it's 2 people talking to each other across a desk? That's all it is. Basically, it's a monologue, right? You need a couple of writers for that, fine. And then the rest of it's just interviews. Right? I mean, you want to have a band, have the band. I don't think the band's really relevant at this point. This isn't Paul Schaefer. This isn't like entertaining people anymore. So, yeah, if it's just 2 people talking across a desk, I could do that pretty cheaply and not spend $140 million a year. I'll probably spend, I don't know, maybe $1 million, and I can make a nice profit if, again, I have different kinds of guests on where I don't become completely and totally predictable and in a political echo chamber for the far left of the Democratic Party. I mean, it's that simple. And I would say the same thing about the right as well. People say, well, Gutfeld's like a conservative, extremely conservative show. No, it's really more of a one that like mocks dumb people and talks about pop culture a lot and cultural issues more than the political stuff than anything else. And that's why Gutfeld's currently doubling Kimmel and beating Colbert quite easily as well, because it's not the same stuff every night.
Joe, I'm so glad you said that, because that's one of the biggest mysteries in this whole thing to me is how could you have a talk show? Because the whole purpose of talk shows is that they're inexpensive. They're not scripted. You don't have to have lots and lots of writers coming in and doing lots of different location shoots. You are on set just doing a talk show every day, and yet you're still that expensive. I just don't get it, but we appreciate your time, Joe, as usual. Fox News contributor. His book is The Greatest Comeback Ever, Inside Trump's Big Beautiful Campaign, which is always available, and we appreciate your time.
Hey, Ryan, thanks for having me. Great job today. Have a good one.
Thanks. Yeah, talk to you again soon. Joe Concha, love talking to that guy. And I love the fact that it happened to be a Wednesday, and Brad was like, I think Joe Concha's coming on the show today, and I get to talk to him because I like talking to Joe Concha. I know Annie does too.
Joe's great.
We love Joe Concha. And hey, a lot more coming up on this show. There is some more stuff to get to with Jimmy Kimmel. He did say some things that surprised me a little bit last night. And one of those was to thank some people who don't normally, well, they've never been on his show. They always get made fun of by him, and yet they backed him up. And he actually said, okay, I'll acknowledge that last night. If you want to hear that clip, we're going to play it in the next segment. Stick around. We'll be right back. This is the Annie Frey Show.
You know, Joe. I don't know nothing. What you know, Joe. Tell
Surprise!
Me surprise!
You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. And you know, your home is your sanctuary. You need to take the first step to peace of mind with a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from the #1 Generac generator dealer in the country, Generator Supercenter. We learned the hard way here in St. Louis during the tornado recently that power can be knocked out. But even outside of that, what if the power grid fails and it's 100 degrees here in St. Louis? You don't want to be that person. Get with Generator Supercenter of St. Louis today. Generator Supercenter of St. Louis.com. Tell them that we sent you along.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting offer. Then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the award-winning online learning program.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Designed by education experts, ABC Mouse seamlessly aligns with what your child is already learning in school. And with over 10,000 learning activities and more than 850 lessons, it's an engaging and comprehensive curriculum. More info at abcmouse.com/radio.
I have been teaching for 13 years, and I've never seen a program like ABC Mouse. It encompasses science, math, reading, social studies.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensated for their testimonials. Sponsored by Age of Learning.
If you're thinking about replacing your windows before winter hits, which is smart, don't keep making the same mistake. Stop replacing your failing vinyl windows on your home now with more vinyl. Lakeside Renovation and Design will install Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows. They're built to last, they're energy efficient, plus they look stunning, and they're custom built for your home. Installed by Lakeside's expert team, and they're going to offer a lifetime workmanship warranty. If you're ready to upgrade your windows once and for all, you need to visit windowsbylakeside.com. Schedule your free consultation today.
Annie mentioned this yesterday, and I have some more details here for you. Turning Point USA's SIUE Edwardsville chapter is holding a vigil tonight for Charlie Kirk. It's going to start at 6:30, and it's going to be at the Madison County Courthouse in Edwardsville, Illinois. You are invited. We encourage you to come out, and it will be a vigil, a time of prayer and reflection on Charlie Kirk. The time is 12:35. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
From Arnold to Edwardsville, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Well, I mentioned that Jimmy Kimmel last night did thank some people who he clearly can't stand. And in fact, even in his thank of them, he mentioned that he doesn't like them. But here's that comment. I figured we'd play it.
Maybe most of all, I want to thank the people who don't support my show and what I believe, but support my right to share those beliefs anyway. People who I never would have imagined, like Ben Shapiro, Clay Travis, Candace Owens, Mitch McConnell, Rand Paul, even my old pal Ted Cruz, who, believe it or not, said something very beautiful on my behalf.
I hate what Jimmy Kimmel said. I am thrilled that he was fired.
Oh, wait, no, not that. The other part.
But let me tell you, if the government gets in the business of saying,
what you
we
can
don't
and can't
like
say.
What you, the media, have said, we're going to ban you from the airwaves if you don't say what we like. That will end up bad for conservatives.
I don't think I've ever said this before, but Ted Cruz is right. He's absolutely right. This affects all of us, including him. I mean, think about it. If Ted Cruz can't speak freely, then he can't cast spells on the Smurfs. Even though I don't agree with many of those people on most subjects, some of the things they say even make me want to throw up. It takes courage for them to speak out against this administration, and they did, and they deserve credit for it. And thanks.
Yeah, there we go. So I don't get the Smurf joke. Do you get it? I don't know what, like, is it a reference to something?
He's trying to say that Ted Cruz looks like Gargamel.
Oh, Is that a thing? I don't know that I've ever heard that before.
I don't run in those circles, so I don't know.
Okay. So what he brought up here is the debate that's been happening on the right.
Mm-hmm.
We debated it in this room, in fact, about is this a free speech issue or not? How did this whole thing shake out? That we on the right tend to have a lot of public disagreements because some of us say, well, it should be this way, and some of us say that should be the other way. What he says at the end of that clip is that people have the courage to speak out against the president. I don't really think that takes that much courage. Sorry. We speak out against the president randomly all the time if we don't like something he said.
Well, that's a line from the left. You hear politicians say it all the time. They won't stand up to him. They're afraid of him, blah, blah, blah. That's not true. What is real truth is that, what the picture that they're painting of Donald Trump is not an accurate picture. It's a distorted picture from their view on the left and to gin up their base. But the other side of it is people on the right agree with a lot of stuff that Donald Trump is doing. So whenever they ask the question, is this what you voted for? The answer is usually, yeah. But if it's not, we'll say so. And you saw an example of that. Open dialogue and debate is welcome on the right. It is. We debate amongst ourselves, and we debate with you if you're on the left.
What day was Kimmel canceled? It was the end of last week?
The last Monday.
It was last Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's been a little over a week.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that day seeing that on Twitter at night and going, oh, wait, because it looked like a fake article. And
right.
I looked it up and, oh, my gosh, this is real. I can't believe this is happening. And then the next day, if that was that Tuesday, we talked about this subject a lot.
Yeah.
You can get the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually check us on this if you want and listen.
Wherever you get your podcast.
We debated it. I think we came down on the side that mostly, I'm not speaking for all of us here, but mostly we said, if you wanted to generalize it, that we were we didn't think this was a free speech issue because it was the affiliates that canceled it.
Right.
Independently of the FCC.
Right.
The FCC didn't do it.
I think Nexstar was first to say we're going to preempt Jimmy Kimmel's show. They didn't say we're just not going to air his show.
Yeah. And then ABC, the network, then they got involved. And that's where people said, oh, ABC wouldn't have done this if the FCC hadn't have said something about it. And I had to agree a little bit with that. I wasn't sure whether ABC would have. Maybe if a bunch of affiliates cancel a show and you're mad at the guy, maybe they would have anyway. But the FCC muddied it. In my words, it was they muddied it up by saying anything.
Yeah.
And now we have, and we can't let this segment go by without reading what Trump posted last night about Jimmy Kimmel. He says, quote, I can't believe ABC fake news gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back. The White House was told by ABC that his show was canceled. Something happened between then and now because his audience is gone, although he did have a huge bump last night, of course, as we predicted. And that's not part of Trump's tweet. I'm just editorializing. Back to his tweet. And his talent was never there. Trump's post on Truth Social said, why would they want someone back who does so poorly, who's not funny, and who puts the network in jeopardy by playing 99% positive Democrat garbage? He says, goes on, here's the controversial part. Kimmel is yet another arm of the DNC, and to the best of my knowledge, that would be a major illegal campaign contribution. I think we're going to test ABC out on this. Let's see how we do. Last time I went after them, they gave me $16 million. That was with George Stephanopoulos because he slandered him. It was false.
He lied, yeah.
This one sounds even more lucrative. A true bunch of losers let Jimmy Kimmel rot in his bad ratings. Before I react, Brad Range, did you see that tweet? And if so,
yeah, I did.
What did you think when you saw it?
Wish he wouldn't weigh in on this and just let it go. I think he has a kind of a point with the, being an arm of the DNC and an in-kind contribution. If the numbers bear out that he is 99.9% Democrats, politicians on his show, but he won't offer the air to Republicans, then maybe he is violating that. I don't know the rules on that, though. But I really, in all honesty, I just wish he would stay out of it.
Yeah.
Just let us and them sort it out.
Yes. It's going to be sorted out.
Yeah.
You don't need to do anything.
I mean, that's
here.
what our poll question is about today.
Yeah. How long do you think Jimmy Kimmel will stay on the air? That's the question. Because, little hint here, his contract is up in May.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they're really going to sign him again after May? I mean, unless there's some sort of mass wave of money that comes into this, because it's all about that. ABC, Disney, they don't care about his politics. They're glad he's out there saying the things that he's saying because they agree with them. He's not going to get canceled by them unless something from above, like this Trump stuff, gets in the way. That's why I think Trump should stay out of it too. And that does make it a free speech issue because he's the president of the United States. People have said, well, this is coming from an account that's not official. I don't think it matters. This is the president of the United States saying this stuff. But this is the way Trump operates. Trump is not an ideologue. I know he's been president for now almost 5 years, broken up with a large punctuation mark in the middle. But he's not a politician. He's not a lawyer. He's not a constitutional expert. And he's never even been really a conservative ideologue. So when he always comes at issues from the back to forward, he goes, oh, crime is a huge issue. Okay, how do we solve crime? And they go, well, you can do this and this. And he goes, well, how about if we do this? And they go, no, you can't do that constitutionally.
Yeah.
He doesn't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
He doesn't know how these things work because he's not a politician and he's not a lawyer and he's not a constitutional expert.
He doesn't test them with lawyers and politicians before he says them.
The only bounds he has is the Constitution, which is so funny that they're constantly saying that he's a demagogue or he's a dictator, because the Constitution is the check and balance on him, because he's not a constitutional guy. I mean, he is abiding by it because he has to as the president of the United States. But he comes at issues like this and goes, I hate Jimmy Kimmel. I hope Jimmy Kimmel's off the air. How do I determine if he's off the air? And then says stupid stuff like this. And it comes back to bite him because he doesn't know that you can't really do that if you're going to protect free speech, because he's never been a guy out there telling everybody that he is the great. He's not a Ronald Reagan who explains so well through great oratory why the system is great. Trump is actually the opposite of that. He comes in and busts up the system. And so this is always the way he comes at things, and it's always messy because he gets the cart before the horse all the time, and then it puts situations like this out there that he will be criticized for, and rightfully so. You can't use the power of government to shut down your political enemies, no matter if they're wrong. You just can't do it. And now I gave him the benefit of the doubt because it wasn't him before, it was the FCC. I gave him the benefit of the doubt before because I thought, well, the FCC did say something. Brendan Carr said something. But I don't think that was the domino that caused all the affiliates to do this. This was already in motion. They were mad. It's Charlie Kirk. Emotions are high. But now he has given everybody lots of fodder to say, look at what he said. He's going to press down on ABC and say, give me $16 million more or whatever. And this is going to become a story. And we started the segment by saying we on the right are not a monolith. We have different opinions. Donald Trump is accomplishing a lot of what we collectively, generally want to happen in this country. And in fact, he's doing it creatively because a lot of times he is doing it cart before the horse. Sometimes you're like, hey, I'm glad he did that because nobody's thought about doing it that way. But it causes issues like this too. And when that happens, you can be sure we're going to call it out.
Right.
Because we are not all in one basket. We are not a basket of deplorables. We are many different ideas, and we will call these things out.
We will talk and debate amongst one another because that's what we do on our side.
Now, I can't speak for Annie Frey of what she would say about this topic. I'm looking forward to tomorrow when she will be back, and she will be able to discuss these things with you as well. That is simply my opinion here. Ryan Wiggins hosting for Annie Frey today. Brad Range is in the studio as well. And usually, Wiggins America, which is my segment, is coming up next. However, because I'm hosting today, it will be Ethan taking over, and he's got some stuff that's just sort of, I don't want to say it's pop culture, but it's where is Gen Z? I don't know that this is in light of Charlie Kirk or what, but I know that it's like Gen Z news and general trends that are going on. So stick around. That's next here on the Annie Frey Show.
From border security to school choice, the Constitution to the culture war. Made in America. Heard in the Midwest. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
When it comes to roofing, you can't go wrong with Corel Roofing. Mark Cox here. My friend Curtis Corel came out, looked at my roof, worked with my insurance adjuster. I got a new roof, new gutters, and even new screens on some of my windows. Curtis specializes in working with insurance companies. Even if you've been denied, he's often able to work with these insurance adjusters to find a way to get it covered. Here's something else Curtis tells me. With cooler weather coming, you need to be aware of something. Roofs cannot be installed if the temperature dips below 45 degrees. Some companies go ahead and do this anyway, but you're going to have problems down the road. So if you're concerned that your roof won't make it through the winter, call Curtis Correll today. Correll Roofing has crews with over 20 years of experience. They pay attention to detail, and they can work with all the luxury line roofing as well. Call Curtis at 314-222-9529. That's 222-9529. Or on Facebook at Correll Roofing Co.
Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure. Now, 1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft, in a breach, or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Have you been notified that your subsidy for Obamacare health insurance is going away? Well, you can leave now while you're still healthy and qualify for much better individual plans. Greg Hammonds at GregHammonds.com has been helping people get affordable health insurance with great coverage for over 35 years. Greg offers private health insurance plans that are not on the ACA marketplace. You can pick your doctors. For most claims, you won't even pay a deductible, and they're 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. One more thing, there's no tax penalty at the end of the year. Greg even has plans that are guaranteed acceptance. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to GregHammonds.com. That's GregHammonds.com. He can custom design a plan by you, not the government.
Now, back to the Annie Frey Show. Real talk for real people. 97.1 FM Talk.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kind of dumb with her finger and her thumb.
Did you put this song in for yourself?
I did.
It's not Wiggins America, it's Ethan's America.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins!
Not Wiggins America, Ethan's America. Ethan's America.
Normally I'm gone when that plays. I love it when I'm here.
You know, I was a little bit offended the other day when we were doing negotiations on air. I don't remember why. And I said, I want a new Wiggins America open. And Annie stepped in and said, no, I like that
the
one.
table.
And I was like, you jerk. I thought you were on my side.
That was not part of the negotiation.
No,
That's
she
gonna
said
stay.
that's off limits. Well, if you're wondering why Smash Mouth made an appearance into the music today, it's because, well, our Ethan's America subject has to do perhaps a little bit with Shrek. Now, if you don't remember, it's been a while since Shrek came out, but the whole storyline, right, is based around Princess Fiona falling in love with an ogre, a big, ugly ogre named Shrek.
Mm-hmm.
And Princess Fiona, you know, she's locked away in the tower. She's beautiful. She's the princess. So there is a new dating style that is being called Shrekking, based off of what occurs in the movie, right? And that is where the pretty girl
becomes an ogre?
No. does not become an ogre.
Starts off as an ogre.
No, not that either. It's where the pretty girl dates down and scores her, her, in quotations, ogre, but ends up getting dumped by them, making her think that it didn't work out.
Wait, this is really complicated.
Yeah, a little bit. When you get Shrek'd, that's what they're calling it, Shrekking. The person you lowered your standards for
oh, here we go.
Still ends up hurting you and not treating you the way you had hoped.
Okay, so you're dating down because you're like, look, I don't want to date a hot person because their personality is going to be terrible. I'm going to go for a non-hot person because they will treat me right.
It's like playing Michigan. It's like Michigan playing Appalachian State as a tune-up game and then getting blown out.
That's a good sports comparison.
That's much better than mine.
Well, not a shocker there. It says plenty of people have put looks lower on the list or hoped attraction would grow over time, and that in itself is not a bad thing. Where it backfires, though, is when someone assumes that just because they're dating down in looks, they'll automatically be treated better. The new phrase highlights a major problem in modern dating, the implication that daters can know how someone will treat them based on looks alone. Is that the assumption? Wait. Is that when you date someone that is not as good looking as you think you could be with, you're automatically going to get better treatment, as though they should be appreciative that you are willing to date them because you're the better looking
makes
one?
It more thankful.
Is this guys doing this to girls or girls doing this to guys?
I guess it could happen in both cases, but my assumption was that the girl is dating down.
I need clarification here, because is Shrekking the term always referring to just dating down, or is it that you're dating down and it's going to end in disappointment?
Not that you know it's going to end in disappointment. It's when it ends in disappointment.
So it's a retroactive term.
Yes. So they look. The guy is Shrek, and the girl dates the guy dating a Shrek, expecting a good guy, and then they're like, "Oh man, he was mean to me."
Now, you could argue that there is potential of, the risk of Shrekking, and you can know that going in if you are dating down, if they are to break up with you. Man. If there is an expectation of they're going to treat me better because they're not as good looking.
Super glad I don't have to date.
Which is a stereotype. That is a stereotype that I am fine with. We can live with that. I think I used to date this girl. She went on to marry a guy who I was like, man, he must have a great personality.
I was going to ask you, you ever Shrek'd or been Shrek'd?
I don't know that I have, but I'm not going to comment on that because that is dangerous.
How about, do you think you've ever been Shrek'd? That doesn't put anyone else on the spot.
Well, it puts the girls who would date me in a weird spot, because I'm saying, I was pretty ugly, and they dated down because they thought I was cool.
But no one's going to be slighted by that.
But if you've been Shrek'd, wait. If you've been Shrek'd, aren't you the one dating down and then you get hurt?
If you've been Shrek'd, yes, you are the one that has been dating down, but you're the one that did the hurting. Right?
No.
Did I say it backwards?
Yes. At least that's the way I understood. I mean, this is really confusing.
If you're the one that is the uglier one, then you're the one that does the dumping.
And you treated the person dating you badly.
And that's what happened to this girl that I knew. That I don't know if she married him or not, but she's long-term relationship with him at least. And I was like, oh, good for her, because he must be a great guy, because he is weird looking.
It also might discourage people from dating someone who looks different than their usual type out of fear that it won't go well, which also isn't necessarily
What's your
true.
type, Ethan?
My type is Hannah Hannaford.
Oh, good answer. All right, it is the end of the 1 o'clock hour. We have Deroy Murdock coming up at the beginning of the next. Stick around. This is the Annie Frey Show.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire America's largest injury law firm for your case? There's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting for justice and compensation, millions of people across the country trust us to go to battle for them. We became the largest injury law firm in the world for a reason. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
This is Kyle Bush with Cringe Financial Group. For over 6 decades, we've helped St. Louis families and businesses plan with purpose and live with confidence. How many times have you changed jobs over the years? If you're like many professionals, you may have left behind one or more 401ks. Unwatched, unmanaged, and potentially your largest retirement asset. Just because it's out of sight doesn't mean it should be out of mind. Let's make sure it's working as hard for your future as you are. Your goals, our mission, start today at kftgadvisors.com.
Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Servicing. Member FINRA/SIPC. Prince Financial Group is not a broker-dealer.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Deadly violence at an ICE facility in Texas. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The FBI investigating it as a targeted act of violence after a gunman on an adjacent rooftop shot 3 people, leaving 2 dead and 1 in critical condition.
FBI Director Kash Patel on X showing an image of the shooter's bullets with the words anti-ICE written on one of them. We're told the gunman fired shots indiscriminately onto the Dallas ICE facility, hitting 3 victims before killing himself in what Dallas FBI Special Agent Joe Rothrock calls
just the most recent example we've seen of targeted violence. Back on July 4th, we saw a coordinated attack carried out against an immigration detention center in Alvarado.
Increased violence that's also led to an agency-wide force protection posture. The victims in the Dallas shooting are detainees. No agents were hurt.
Fox's Jeff Manasso, the dead suspect believed to be 29-year-old Joshua John from Oklahoma. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says the shooting should serve as a wake-up call that what she calls far-left rhetoric about ICE has consequences. Some opponents of the president's immigration enforcement have likened ICE agents to slave patrols or Nazis. A new poll shedding light on what Americans think of the president's handling of multiple issues.
A poll of nearly 1,200 U.S. voters conducted by the Associated Press Nork Center for Public Affairs finding 37% approve of President Trump's handling of the economy, down slightly from August when 43% approved. The economy, which was a strength for the president in his first term, now a weak issue for him among independents, with only 2 in 10 approving of his handling. But 55% of those polled approve of how the president is handling border security, 46% on crime, and 43% on immigration.
Fox's Christian Goodwin, the president's overall approval rating in this poll holding steady at 39% since the beginning of his second term. America is listening to Fox News.
Stop settling for weak sound. It's time to level up your game and bring the boom. Hit the town with the ultra-durable LG X Boom portable speaker and enjoy vibrant sound wherever you go. Elevate your listening experience to new heights because, let's be real, your music deserves it. The future of sound is now with LG X Boom. And for a limited time, save 25% at LG.com with code FALL25. Bring the boom. X-Boom.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell, founder of Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is complicated, especially when your small business or professional practice is involved. At Cordell & Cordell, we understand that these assets raise unique valuation and allocation issues. For 35 years, we've helped doctors, lawyers, and small business owners navigate divorce with confidence. Call Cordell & Cordell today, because your business is more than a job, it's your legacy.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
A slow improvement in our wet weather pattern is starting to take place. Still a little shaky this afternoon, but things are getting better. Mostly cloudy skies, a couple of scattered showers and thunder showers, though certainly not raining all the time. 77 for the high, mostly cloudy tonight. 62 Thursday, partly sunny, maybe a spot shower. That's about it. A lot of dry time Thursday. 75. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. If you need a new furnace, get Carrier Cool Cash rebates and 0% financing, so you'll be nice and cozy as the weather turns. For a free estimate on a new heating system, visit aircomfortservice.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Oh, yeah, it is the moment you have been waiting for.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom.
Annie's out. Ryan and Brad are in.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
This is the Mannie Frey Show.
This is the Mannie Frey Show. This is Ryan Wiggins filling in for Annie Frey today. It is Wednesday, the 24th of September. And as usual, on Wednesdays, we talk to Deroy Murdock. Deroy, thanks for being here, even in light of Annie's absence.
Ryan, it's great to be with you, despite Annie not being there.
Yeah. So I'm looking here at an article that is from Spectator. This is about House Resolution 719. It is titled Honoring the Life and Legacy of Charles Charlie James Kirk, and the bill's language should have offended no one. But let us know, Deroy, how did this play out?
It wasn't as popular as I might have imagined. This was a measure that the House considered, I believe it was last Friday, and it was honoring the late, great Charlie Kirk, of course, assassinated 2 weeks ago this hour. I think it was two weeks ago, like 2:20 p.m.
Right.
Eastern time, so like 15 minutes from now, 2 weeks ago. And this was a very kind of straightforward resolution. Among other things, it said that the House of Representatives condemns in the strongest possible terms the assassination of Charles Charlie James Kirk and all forms of political violence. It extends its deepest condolences and sympathies to Charlie Kirk's family, and calls upon all Americans, regardless of race, party affiliation, etc., to reject political violence, recommit to respectful debate, uphold American values, and respect one another as fellow Americans. Nothing in there about abortion or gun control or tax cuts or anything that might set people off. And yet, despite that, when the votes were counted, 98.2% of Republicans voted yes. There were 1.8% didn't vote, as it turns out. But among Democrats, only 44.6% of them were able to say yes to those things. Fully 58%, or not percent rather, 58 Democrats voted no. They voted against honoring Charlie Kirk's memory and his legacy, and against denouncing violence. I guess that means that they're in favor of political violence. And I call this group of 58 far-left radical Democrats the House Assassination Caucus. That's pretty much the way that they presented themselves. And a whole bunch of Democrats voted present, and then 22 of them didn't bother to vote. And there was a big vote on the budget continuing resolution just 9 minutes earlier, and a whole bunch of people voted for that. In fact, only 2 Democrats didn't vote for that. So somewhere between the continuing resolution vote and 9 minutes later the Charlie Kirk vote, 20 of them, I guess, suddenly got sick or suddenly were out of town or something like this, or they just fully chickened out and didn't even have the guts to show up and vote present. I mean, they just didn't vote at all. Pretty grim stuff. But if you look at it in total, 98.2% of Republicans voted in favor of the Charlie Kirk resolution. 1.8% didn't because they didn't vote. And among Democrats, only 44.6% voted in favor of that resolution. 55.4% of them either voted against it or voted present or didn't bother to vote. So when you hear the whole both sides argument, both sides do it, blah, 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 both sides are into political violence. This is one great example. You had the Republicans on one side saying we're not for political violence, and the Democrats couldn't even muster a majority of their Democrat conference to vote in favor of something that denounced political violence. Absolutely a shameful and disgusting day in the U.S. House last Friday. This is definitely not your grandfather and grandmother's Democrat Party anymore.
Yeah, Deroy, I'm looking over this resolution, and it says things. If it was highly partisan, I would say, oh, okay, I can kind of see it. I disagree, but I see it. But here's what it says. Condemns, in the strongest possible terms, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, commends and honors the dedicated law enforcement and emergency personnel for their tireless efforts in finding the suspect responsible and for helping with the injuries and so forth, or attempting to. Extends its deepest condolences and sympathies to Kirk's family, honors the life, leadership, and legacy of Charlie Kirk. I guess that would be maybe the only thing that would be like, well, we disagree with him politically. Okay. But it also says in that same point there to his steadfast dedication to the Constitution and civil discourse and biblical truth, inspired by a generation to cherish and defend the blessings of liberty. And then last, calls upon all Americans, regardless of race, party affiliation, or creed, to reject political violence and recommit to respectful debate. What is it about that you could look at and say, oh, I can't vote for that?
Yeah, I really don't know. Now, that's an excerpt. There were other parts of it, but the parts that I didn't put in this article just for space purposes basically talked about his background when he was born, where he grew up, kind of biographical stuff. And none of it went beyond the spirit of what you just read, basically that he was somebody who believed in civil discourse, someone who believed in open debate, and that we should rededicate ourselves to denouncing political violence and settling our differences through discussion, through discourse, debate, etc. So it's pretty much an extension of what you just said. But these Democrats have got Trump derangement syndrome. I guess they now have Kirk derangement syndrome. And like I say, a majority of them could not bring themselves to support this. And 58 of these Democrats actually very actively voted no against this measure. It's just astonishing. And you'd think at this time when, if this were just a regular time where, for whatever reason, let's just say he'd passed away from a stroke early at age 31, which would be unusual, you wouldn't have the same level of national attention we do. But the fact that he was assassinated in such a brutal and grotesque manner has the entire country on edge. And you'd think the Democrats would think, maybe if we all vote for this, it'll calm things down. If something had happened to people, someone on the left with whom you and I disagree, and you had the whole country just, at the explosion point practically, I think a lot of Republicans say, look, we're not crazy about this person, but, maybe we'll vote for this and maybe it'll calm things down. But you didn't have that happen among a majority of Democrats. Instead, you've seen, now this is not members of the House, obviously, but you've seen people show up at vigils for Charlie Kirk around the country and interrupt them and scream and yell and make noise when people are just trying to pray or light candles and meditate quietly. You had people show up at the headquarters of Turning Point USA in Phoenix and go up to the flowers and the candles that were burning and kick them over and destroy them and attack them. I mean, who does that? I've never seen anybody go up to a collection of candles and flowers and bouquets after somebody has died and do anything other than either honor them or, if it bothers you, just keep walking. But these people on the left will actually go up and start kicking over candles and stomping on flowers. I mean, the level of just pure vitriol and utter classlessness on the part of so many on the left is just breathtaking. And I think when we saw poor Charlie Kirk get killed 2 weeks ago today, I don't think anybody thought we'd be seeing people jumping a bit up and down and celebrating and then disrupting various efforts to commemorate and remember his life.
Yeah, Deroy, you mentioned the guy that went kicking through the memorial, tearing down balloons and flowers and stuff, and you're like, at some level, there's got to be, and maybe this applies to the actual party leaders too, I don't know, that's kind of what I'm asking you here, is that at some level you got to think that the level of hatred that is in the heart of somebody like that in light of somebody being assassinated, again, even if you disagree with them politically and you disagree with every point the guy ever made, to say, I hate this guy so bad that I'm just going to just make a wreck of a little side street memorial that people were just putting flowers by. That if the hate in you is that deep, that maybe that's why the rhetoric comes out so hot, that you go, he's a fascist. I don't just disagree with him. He's a dictator. He's like Hitler, because you're coming from a place where it's so buried in you that you're trying to put language to the way you feel, even if it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I would say that's about right. These people are just so consumed with just rage that they're not able to modulate it and say, look, we didn't agree with the guy. He was wrong on the ideas, but he died and his wife's a widow. His kids don't have a dad. So, that's kind of a sad thing. And again, if you're not prepared to say that, just clam up. I mean, there have been people who passed away who I've not particularly admired or liked. I've never been a big fan of George Herbert Walker Bush. When he passed away, I thought, well, let me write a piece reminding people of all the negative things he did. And then I said, you know what, just bury him. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I didn't say a word. I just clammed up and said, the people who admire him can go to admire him. The people who didn't will, think what they will. And I'm just going to be quiet and let people enjoy or not enjoy the moment without me chiming in and throwing some venom around. And I guess that little brake pedal doesn't exist with a lot of these people, and that's really sad. And you've seen today the attack on this ICE facility in Dallas. You've seen the attacks on the Tesla facilities when Elon Musk was heading up Doge. You've seen the fire at the governor's mansion in Pennsylvania. A lot of people say, oh, that was a right-wing attack, because actually, no, it was somebody on the left who's a pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas type who didn't like Shapiro's, views on Israel. And you have people who wear MAGA hats walk down the street and get socked in the face. I've never heard of anybody wearing a Biden hat or a Hillary Clinton hat or a Kamala Harris hat walking down the street and getting socked in the face anywhere. Now, people might look at them funny, or they might cross the street to avoid them, but people are able to wear left-wing hats in this country without getting attacked. You put a MAGA hat on in a lot of places in this country, and you're gonna go home with a black eye or a flattened nose or fat lip. And this is the left doing it. And they love to say, oh, both sides do it. Both sides do it. Show me an example of anybody on the left who's worn a pro-Democrat garment and had to go home with it covered in blood because the person got attacked by a conservative. It just doesn't happen.
Well, the example that comes to mind for me that I remember in recent memory is when Jussie Smollett was attacked by a bunch of guys wearing MAGA hats. That was sad. I mean, it's a sad day for our country.
Downtown Chicago, that's a big MAGA stronghold.
MAGA country, yeah.
That's the beating heart of MAGA country, right there, right in the loop in Chicago.
Yeah, and so that happens.
Yeah, right. Especially 2 a.m. when it's about 5 degrees out.
Right. And the problem is he paid him ahead of time. He shouldn't have done that. Let me ask you this, Deroy, before we run out of time with you. You mentioned that it was, what about 40? Did you say about 46, 48% of Democrats voted against the Charlie Kirk resolution?
Let's see. In terms of the people who actually actively voted no, that was 58 Democrats who voted no, and that was 27.2% of the Democrat conference. If you add up the people who voted no, voted present, or didn't vote, that grand total is 55%, 55.4%, okay. And only 44.6 voted yes. They voted in favor of the resolution.
That's the number I was looking for, with that 44%.
Yeah.
Do you think that number is indicative of the number of Democrats in the House right now, because we have a hard number there, that do look at things and say, yeah, you know what, things are a little bit too hot. I may be left of center. I may believe in big government or whatever. The traditional big Democrat policies, but they're not irrational so much that they would vote against a Charlie Kirk amendment that we just read that has almost nothing objectionable in it. Is that kind of the breakdown that you see, that it's roughly 50%, and that would maybe of all Democrats in the country? I don't know if you want to take it that far or not, but of people who are in the House at least, that look at an issue like this and they can say, yeah, I can actually put aside my partisanship, whereas 50% plus can't.
Yeah, I would say, I don't know if it's as high as 45%. That may be a high watermark. But, I've said before, maybe even on this show, that I would welcome the return of the tax and spend Democrats. If they're just focused on, okay, we're going to raise, somebody's taxes some, we're going to take some of the money and give it to poor people and programs, et cetera. I disagree with a lot of that, but you can have a sensible, polite discussion with people about this and say, all right, well, look, we're not going to jack up the tax rate to this, but, we can go along with that. Or, well, we're not going to spend $1 billion on it, but, maybe $200 million we can go along with, whatever. But when you've got people who are engaging in this sort of thing. Everything is Hitler. Your little 10-year-old boy doesn't need that penis; he needs a vagina. Your little 13-year-old girl, we're going to cut her breasts off, and we want to celebrate Hamas, the people who October 7th killed, I think it was about 1,200 innocent Israelis, and we're going to wave the Palestinian flag and so on and so on. It's very hard to have any kind of a rational discussion with people like this. You're not deciding, okay, well, we're going to have instead of a 21% corporate tax rate, it's going to go down to 18 or it's going to go up to 23. I mean, you can debate that sort of thing. But the kind of views that these people have are just so rational and so radical and increasingly violent that it's just become very hard to have any kind of a sensible adult conversation with people like this.
Well, Deroy, always appreciate your insights and your hits here on the Annie Frey Show, and hopefully next Wednesday you'll be talking to Annie again.
Hopefully so. Very good.
All right, take
Ryan,
care.
Good to talk to you. Thank you.
You too.
Well.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you so much. Deroy Murdock, nationally syndicated columnist. Always enjoy reading his articles. That one from The Spectator about the House Democrats who failed to salute or at least vote for a resolution condemning political violence. Seems like that would have been a really easy one to do. I know that you don't. Look, if you're a Democrat, I know you probably were driven crazy by Charlie Kirk. He's so good at debate that if you watch a clip like that, because there's a couple of younger guys, and I don't know their names, but there's a couple of younger guys on the left that are trying to do that, who they're pretty good at debate. And so they'll have a room full of people, and there's probably rules to where you get 2 minutes or whatever to come and debate at this table with this guy. And when I watch those clips, they do kind of drive me crazy because I think, oh, the Republican's not making a very good point here, the conservative guy or whatever. And he's making points that I think would be easy to refute, but they're not doing it, So you're kind of like mad, but it gets you worked up because it's about some issue that you care about. I could imagine that if you're on the left, that you would watch a Charlie Kirk clip like that and be like, oh, like they didn't say what they should have said or whatever, and he's beating them, and this is going to go viral, and they're not even making the right points or whatever.
But what's the right solution to that?
What's the right solution to that? So I get though.
Show up.
I get that you might have been driven crazy by him if you're on the left because he was a very good debater, which there's an art to. It's not just having the right facts.
And he was good and gracious.
He was very gracious about it, and he did seem to really care about people. And that has all come out since his assassination in ways that I never would have expected the nation to look on him and say, oh gosh, he meant a lot to me. That's what's been so surprising. And getting a little off topic here, but that day, that was 2 weeks ago today, and Deroy's right. It was almost 2 weeks to the minute.
I think I got messages right about now.
Yeah, that we were starting to find out. We had gone into an interview with Mike Bost at that moment when we were trying to verify because, after the Trump shooting, you hear shooting and you don't know, well, what does that mean? Because there haven't been a lot of these in our lifetime until those. And everybody remembers where they were probably when they heard about the Trump shooting. I would venture to say that we're now there with Charlie Kirk, that everybody kind of remembers where they were when they found out about that. But you don't know the details. So you wait and you find out. Well, we find out that he was assassinated. It's a very, very different outcome than when we found out that the president had been shot. And very sad. And I just, again, I've told this story already, but I remember going to the baseball game that my son had 2 weeks ago and sitting with a few people that I see mostly at baseball games, sometimes outside of that. But everybody just was like sad. And I don't know where all of them are politically. It was just like, dang, something kind of big just happened. And I think that's all this resolution was saying is that this was a big deal and we need to condemn the violence and honor the family. And if you have half the Democrat Party that still won't even sign on to that, I mean, come on. This is an easy one, guys.
It's so rough too, and I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I really do. Like, okay, maybe you didn't know everything that was going on. Maybe you didn't know the whole story behind it, when this resolution was introduced or whatever. But I mean, come on. We can all agree that act, be it a lefty killing a person on the right or a righty killing somebody on the left, is abhorrent and it's horrible and it should be condemned.
It's an easy thing to condemn. But still people won't do it. All right, we're going to take a short break here and come back with a short segment because we have Darin LaHood coming up at 1:30 He is a member of the Ways and Means Committee. He's on the House Intel Committee. He was actually a part, was he a sponsor for the resolution we were just talking about with Deroy? I know he was involved with it.
I'm not sure.
He was somehow involved with that resolution. So we can ask him when he's on at 1:30. Quick segment between now and then. Stick around. This is the Annie Frey Show.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Mark Cox here. Let me introduce you to my friends at the Lit Cigar Lounge in St. Louis, where luxury meets comfort. Premium hand-rolled cigars, an extensive selection of rare bourbons and whiskeys and craft cocktails. It's comfortable for non-smokers, too. They have a state-of-the-art ventilation system. They have private lockers and live music every Friday night, perfect for date nights or business meetings or just winding down. Visit litstl.com.
Men, need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Yeah, the boys are back in town. I think Ethan plays this every time it's the Mannie Frey Show at some point in the show.
He told me when he was putting music in, he's like, definitely go with Mannie Frey Show music today.
Cool. I'm getting on a plane tomorrow. Yesterday, I was just giddy. I was just in a goofy mood.
Yeah, I made a reel about that.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you act like you're getting ready to play it. You're not playing it.
No.
You're just putting it together.
Yeah.
Okay.
I made it already. It's up on the internet.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It's out there?
Yeah, released this morning.
Oh, how did I miss it?
Oh.
And it's about me.
At your
I was
appointment.
probably at the doctor. Yeah, gosh, I'm getting ready to get on a plane tomorrow. So you know how those short weeks are, and this is one for me.
Yeah.
Where you're like, your mind's already packing and planning and doing all
my
that
mind
stuff.
doesn't do that.
Oh, man. Yeah, because you got to get through a lot of production. I come in here and I just react. That's my whole job.
I know. It's a bunch of bologna
It's
sausage.
great. I love it.
I want to switch with you for like a week.
I have to be very prepared to go anywhere, though. That's the hard part, is that I don't know where Annie's going to drive.
Yeah, you have to come up with a made-up cologne.
I have to be at least somewhat informed about basically everything going on, because I don't know exactly. Like, we do not talk before the show on purpose so that everything's fresh for the show. But I'm getting ready to go on vacation. I pulled this article up. It says that a new study suggests that the right tunes might fight off motion sickness. Do you get motion sick?
No. Well,
I don't on
I
planes.
have like once.
I do when I read in a car.
It was a boat.
Well, that's possible.
So it's like a rhythmic thing that'll get me.
Okay.
But no.
My wife, man, she cannot handle planes. And when I'm a passenger in a car, which is very rarely, I can't read. That's the only time I can't.
I
don't know what it is.
Try to read.
But this study says that this team of researchers recruited 30 car-sick-prone volunteers and strapped them into nausea-inducing driving simulators. Each of the participants wore a cap wired with 64 electrodes to monitor their brain activity. When the queasiness kicked in, which it was inevitably going to do, they were split into 4 groups, each listening to a different style of music for 60 seconds. The control group was played no music, letting their symptoms fade naturally. The scientists found that upbeat music was the top cure, easing motion sickness by a whopping 57%. Soft tunes weren't far behind, cutting symptoms by 56%, while passionate music helped by 48%. Sad songs were the worst. That group saw just a 40% drop. So don't listen to sad music.
No.
If you are experiencing motion sickness, apparently you want to listen to something that's bright and upbeat.
Yeah, change the rhythm.
And it will help you. And I will do that if I feel motion sickness on my trip, which starts tomorrow. I will see you guys again on Tuesday. But stick around because coming up next, Representative Darin LaHood will be with us. I'm going to read this headline because this is what we're going to talk about. This is a big, big story, and I just don't know much about it, which is why I'm so glad to talk to him. It says the Secret Service dismantled a telecom threat near the UN yesterday. This was a massive hidden telecom network across New York. Let's find out more about this from Darin LaHood, who's a member of the Ways and Means Committee and the House Intel Committee, next.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
Hey fans, Chip Carey and Chris Kerber here. FanDuel Sports Network's your home for the Cardinals and the Blues. Thanks for watching the Cardinals all summer long.
Now Blues hockey is coming up. The Blues open October 9th, and there are more ways to watch this season.
Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream Cardinals and Blues games. You can also stream on Prime Video by adding a FanDuel Sports Network subscription.
Or watch through a TV provider, including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more.
Learn more at FanDuelSportsNetwork.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. And you know, your home is your sanctuary. You need to take the first step to peace of mind with a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from the #1 Generac generator dealer in the country, Generator Supercenter. We learned the hard way here in St. Louis during the tornado recently that power can be knocked out. But even outside of that, what if the power grid fails and it's 100 degrees here in St. Louis? You don't want to be that person. Get with Generator Supercenter of St. Louis today. Generator Supercenter of St. Louis.com. Tell them that we sent you along.
Where common sense rules the mic. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
I got my mind set on you.
Ryan Wiggins filling in for Annie Frey. Representative Darin LaHood is here representing Illinois' 16th District, and he's a member of the Ways and Means Committee and the House Intel Committee. Mr. LaHood, thank you for being here.
Hey, Ryan. Good to be on with you and your listeners today.
Okay, I'm going to read from you a bit of a article from PBS from yesterday's Secret Service, this big story about them dismantling a telecom threat. Because when you dig in past the headline, man, this stuff sounds crazy. And I just want to have you fill us in on what this is. It says the Secret Service was quietly dismantling a massive hidden telecom network across the New York area yesterday as the UN was meeting there. What exactly is going on here?
Well, Ryan, I serve on the House Intelligence Committee. I'm a former federal prosecutor. I've worked in the terrorism field as in the U.S. Attorney's Office. So there's some things I can talk about being a member of the Intelligence Committee. There's other things I cannot.
Sure.
Let me just first say I want to thank the Secret Service for their work to find and dismantle this threat before all of the world leaders arrived at the UN General Assembly. And I think the severity of the threat cannot be understated at this point. These devices that were uncovered could have been used to disable cell phone towers and cripple emergency response to any attack that came after. And obviously, it's ongoing right now. There's a thorough and extensive investigation to find out the origins of this and the genesis of where this came from. And we need to know who obviously set this up. It was sophisticated. It obviously penetrated parts of New York City to get it done. But what was the end goal here? And are there more networks in other areas that are prone to this? And obviously, any group or country or non-state actor that's involved in this will be held fully accountable. So we're looking into that, and there will be consequences. And we'll see. I don't want to rush to judgment on what country or what entity or what non-state actor could be involved, but we're going to get to the bottom of it one way or another.
Well, Representative LaHood, I got to say, when I heard this story yesterday, I got scared. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like a big deal. But then I was reassured that we had found it. I mean, it's sort of like the full range of emotions that, yes, it's scary, but yes, we had people on the topic, dealing with it right away, which gives me great comfort. But you mentioned that everybody's looking into who did this. And I'll ask you this question. If you can't answer it, that's okay, but I'm going to ask anyway. Do we know what the point was? Because the article says that it could have crippled cell towers, jammed 911 calls. It sounds like it all had to do with communications. Do we know if that was the point?
Again, I don't want to speculate on what exactly the origins of the threat or what the full intentions were of the plot, but clearly when you're able to dismantle communications networks and 911 networks and cell networks, that can be extremely disruptive to any type of, attack or any type of a threat or any type of taking out of a world leader, for instance. And again, I don't want to jump to conclusions on that, but, there's many different facets that could be taken here, and I think we got to get to the bottom of it before we make any conclusions. But I will say this, Ryan, our adversaries are actively out there working against the United States, and from China to Iran to North Korea to Russia. I mean, these are countries and entities that want to hurt America in many ways. And would love to see some type of incident that occurred in the United States, particularly as we're showcasing New York City and the UN and welcoming all the world leaders. So for now, we're going to hold tight, get to the bottom of it, and hopefully nothing occurs during this week of the UN festivities.
Yeah. Gosh, that's just such a big deal. And so thank you for answering what you can, because I really appreciate it. And just good to know that they caught this thing before anything happened. At least that's what it looks like right now. Switching gears here a little bit, Mr. LaHood, what is the Intel Committee looking into with the Charlie Kirk assassination, or really anything associated with Charlie Kirk right now?
Well, obviously, we're glad we got the assassin and the murderer in the case of Charlie Kirk. That's the good news. But finding out how this young person was radicalized, what was the background? I know the FBI, along with local law enforcement, are using every tool available. They're scouring, obviously, his social media page, his interactions with others. We want to make sure that, there was no other entities or people or individuals that were involved. And then secondly, what happened? Was this a mental health issue? Was it a behavioral health? How was he, if he was radicalized, who was leading that effort? That will become important. And then obviously, the full extent of the law and the prosecution process has to move forward, and getting those answers and making sure that we've turned over every stone is going to be important in this. But, the full complement of the federal government and local law enforcement is involved on this and should be. And we'll when we get everything, then we can maybe make further determinations on what needs to be done further.
Is anybody on the Intel committee still asking the question of, what was his motivation? Or is that just long settled at this point?
Of course. I don't think it's too fresh. It's too, people are still, and myself included, are still compartmentalizing what occurred. How did this occur? How could this happen? And so, motivation has to be a question that we look at. And with all political violence, what is motivating people? Was it, some of the radical progressive left and what they've engaged in their rhetoric and what's been said? Was that? And if so, we need to, again, hold people accountable and tone down the rhetoric. And that falls on the media, that falls on elected politicians and other people in our society. So once we determine that and reach a conclusion on that, and the last point that I will make, I think it'll become important to then take action depending on what is concluded. I think the other thing that's important to talk about here too, Ryan, is, there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. There's a lot of people that speculate. We want to make sure that, none of these conspiracy theories are true. People like to say a lot of stuff, and we can't lead people down a path if the facts and evidence don't back that up.
Representative Darin LaHood with us. Before we run out of time with you, last question for you. We were just talking about how we think it was right at about this time 2 weeks ago that assassination happened, and that this is a where were you moment. We were live on the air, obviously. We were actually speaking with Representative Mike Bost, and that is when we started to see that news filter in. I just wanted to ask you personally, where were you at that moment, and what was your reaction when you heard the news?
Well, when I was actually we have 3 sons, right? And I was moving my youngest son into college with my wife, and so we were spending the day with her, and it came across my phone that Charlie Kirk had been shot, and I didn't know the details on that. There was a shooting, and then a couple of my other sons started texting me, and others texted me. And then, we were all in this period of, is he okay? And, there was mixed messages coming forth that, he's stabilized. And then, of course, when you eventually saw the video, the just horrific nature of what occurred with that assassination, it was hard to think that he could live, after seeing that. So it was, again, sad, tragic, a dark day, and like many others, I'll never forget the sadness and just the gruesomeness of what occurred. And again, you still go through those waves even today of realizing he's gone. And I thought the ceremony the other day was extremely impactful on so many people, and obviously a great way to remember his legacy and his life, which I've said I think. He's a martyr now, and I think Turning Point USA could come back even stronger because of Charlie.
It really is amazing. I'm glad you mentioned the memorial service because, a couple days removed and we already aren't talking about it as much today. But watching that and watching it even after the fact, it's amazing, aside from everything that we've already discussed about the memorial service, just how much one person's life can make an impact on the world. And to see how many people tuned into that, how many people, is like almost 300,000 people were pegged on their cell phones as being around there. How many people have been impacted by this guy that we now realize after he's gone the impact that he made?
No doubt. People just, assume it's just young people and changing minds. But as you looked at the crowd at the arena there in Glendale, it was, a lot of older people of all generations that were there. that, again, his impact and the wide audience that he had, both domestically and internationally, I mean, he was changing the minds and hearts of so many people, and he was starting to move internationally too. He was in South Korea a week or two before, and his impact was really endless. And we got to make sure we carry on his enthusiasm, his engagement, and bringing young people to the table in particularly.
Representative Darin LaHood, thank you so much for your time today representing Illinois' 16th District in Washington. Thanks for all you're doing.
Thank you, Ryan. Take care.
All right, talk to you later. He is a member of the Ways and Means Committee, House Intel Committee, and one of Illinois' finest, serving Illinois' 16th District. Back to the topic that we were talking about at the beginning of the segment with him. Just another paragraph I wanted to read from this PBS article about this telecom threat in New York City. This is crazy stuff, and it's the kind of thing that you go, are we ever really going to find out? You know, I know he had to be careful, like he's in confidential things, skiffs, I'm sure that he's getting briefed, but I'll just read from this article here. It says the cache was made up of more than 300 SIM servers packed with over 100,000 SIM cards and clustered within 35 miles of the United Nations, representing one of the most sweeping communications threats uncovered on U.S. soil. Investigators warn the system could have blacked out cellular service in a city that relies on it not only for daily life, but for emergency response and counterterrorism, coming as foreign leaders filled midtown hotels and motorcades clogged Manhattan. Officials say the takedown highlights a new frontier of risk, plots aimed at the invisible infrastructure that keeps a modern city connected. I will tell you the one bright point I have in reading that is that when it's just like when a major company goes through some scandal. Oh, your chicken was made with plastic in it, or like something random, and it hits the stock exchange and their stock tumbles. Well, when's the best time to eat at that restaurant? It's usually right after that happens, because everybody's on high alert. Everybody's watching for. It was 2014-ish that Taco Bell had some scandal, and I remember thinking, oh, everybody's going to be running from Taco Bell because they said something about their grade of meat was so low.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I was like, oh, man, I kind of want to go to Taco Bell right now. And for 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even a month, that was the best tacos I'd ever had from Taco Bell. I'm talking that was premium grade meat that you were getting for a little while there. Well, I'm applying the ridiculous thing to this story in saying that if they discovered this thing at the UN, and they realize, oh my gosh, it's not just a theory that these things could be taken out. People might actually be doing it. Then that will help us to get ahead of the bad guys who, and maybe this stuff's going on behind the scenes all the time.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But when we find out about it and it becomes more pressure on making sure that it doesn't happen, that to me is a good thing.
Wow, you know what's amazing to me about this, and this goes back to what Rep LaHood said about, shout out to the men and women of law enforcement that rooted this out. I wouldn't even thought to think, telecommunications could be a threat.
No, of course not.
And then it's oh yeah, well they've got this and this and this, they can do that and that and that, and then you're going, oh man, I wouldn't even thought to check. And our law enforcement is doing that, and they're all over it.
And they found it.
Yes.
How vulnerable are our systems? I don't know. But I do know that these guys found that threat.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So we're going to take a short break here. We'll come right back. YouTube live chat poll today. How long do you think Jimmy Kimmel will stay on the air? A few options here. We haven't discussed this yet, but we will. Canceled within a month, canceled within 6 months, canceled within a year, or he's back for good. Let us know what you think, and we'll get the results of that poll at the end of the show, as we always do. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Sunday, the Chiefs are back on 97.1 FM Talk. Tune in for the game at 3:25 with pregame coverage starting at 2. 97.1 FM Talk this Sunday with the Chiefs. Game time 3:25.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Underdog Fantasy, and football is back, and Underdog is the best place to select entries and win money all season long. And, of course, now you can play in Missouri, and playing on Underdog is easy. Once you download the app, you come up with a username. I'm going to guide you into some bonus credits here in a moment, but when you play on Underdog, you choose whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats. So for football, super easy. Touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. You get your entries right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash, and you can play play with as little as $1. Download the app and sign up with the promo code MarkR to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. Again, that's the promo code MarkR. Underdog, make plays, win money. Millions of fans have already won billions making plays on Underdog. Will you be next? Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
With this season's drought and high temperatures, demand for new sprinkler system installs is at its peak. Even with a little rain in the forecast, now is the absolute best time to put a new system in place, setting you up for a healthier, greener lawn next year. Don't let your lawn go through another season looking the way it does today. Take control now, and you'll never have to worry about the damage heat and dry weather can cause again. Call 636-695-7800 or visit ProOutdoor.com to schedule your new system installation today.
When you get hurt, you don't want to end up on the injured list. You want to get back in the game, stronger than ever. At Morgan & Morgan, we're the home run hitters you need. Morgan & Morgan, proud sponsor of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Have you been notified that your subsidy for Obamacare health insurance is going away? Well, you can leave now while you are still healthy and can qualify for much better individual plans. Greg Hammonds at greghammonds.com has been helping people get affordable health insurance with great coverage for over 35 years. Greg offers private health insurance plans that are not on the ACA marketplace. You can pick your doctors. For most claims, you won't even pay a deductible, and they're 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. One more thing, there's no tax penalty at the end of the year. Greg even has plans that are guaranteed acceptance. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. He can custom design a plan by you, not the government.
Life's unpredictable and full of unknowns, but your vehicle shouldn't be. No one wants to face an unexpected repair that could derail their plans and budget. That's why we're introducing CarShield, the ultimate way to future-proof your ride. We're not just about fixing problems, we're about preventing financial surprises. You can get a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan designed to save you from out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Imagine driving with complete peace of mind, knowing that if something goes wrong, you'll pay almost nothing for covered repairs. Included in every plan is free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. This protection plan is at an all-time low, making it accessible to any driver. Don't wait for a breakdown to realize you need coverage. Invest in the future of your vehicle and your wallet today. Call CarShield now for your free quick quote. Call 800-908-8646. That's 800-908-8646. Future-proof your ride. Call CarShield now. 800-908-8646. 800-908-8646. Again, 800-908-8646.
Well, today's YouTube live chat poll is how long do you think Jimmy Kimmel will stay on the air? And we've got 4 options for you. It's canceled within a month, canceled within 6 months, canceled within a year, or he's back for good. So you can jump on Annie's YouTube page and vote there, and then leave us a comment telling us what you think. Why will he be canceled, or why is he back for good, or whatever. Just leave us a comment telling us why you voted the way you voted, and we might read that comment on the air. Like Jackie's comment, he says, gone within a year. That would be a major contract adjustment with his viewership. A short-term spike, viewers won't help. So she's saying that he will be gone within a year because his contract will be up within a year. Another thing I want to tell you about is Turning Point USA's SIU Edwardsville chapter is holding a vigil tonight for Charlie Kirk. It's going to be at the Madison County Courthouse in Edwardsville, Illinois, and I'm super glad that they're doing this because I've been looking for one of these to attend. And I would have driven hours.
Big event.
I would have driven hours to go to one, and this is going to be just up the road from most of you in the listening area.
At SIUE.
It's at the Madison County Courthouse, hosted by Turning Point USA's SIUE chapter, and it'll be tonight, and it starts at 6:30. So if you can make it, please come out. You are invited. We will have a time of memorial for Charlie Kirk. The time is 1:51. Please, this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up. Family focused, faith filled, always on point. It's the Annie Frey Show.
All right, we got some J.D. Vance news. Actually, it's more DEI news. Here is our correspondent, Joy Reid.
As smart as I know my is, Ketanji Brown is smarter. Smartest person I've ever met in my life. When you smart, I'm smart. That lady is smart on a level I've never seen before. And her 3 roommates were even smarter. These girls were so smart that we were shocked that we'd ever met anybody that intelligent. And Amy Coney Barrett, on the other hand, is a Supreme Court justice just like Ketanji, even though her qualifications are minuscule compared to Ketanji's. Maybe that's the affirmative action we've been getting. White people who are essentially mediocre in scale compared to a black person getting the spot because they wanted a conservative. Maybe the way that J.D. Vance got into Yale is because they were tired of just letting in white men from New York, from Choate, from all the elite schools, and they wanted an Appalachian white. That's how that man got into Yale, I promise you.
Ooh, she promises? I didn't know that. I didn't know there's a promise at the
promises
end.
you, yeah.
Okay, so J.D. Vance got into Yale because
he's an Appalachian white man.
Yale only allows, like, colleges and universities are notorious for being very discriminatory against non-whites.
Yeah.
Is that what she's saying?
Yes.
So he, because he's white, he got in.
They're tired of white guys from New York. They want white guys from Appalachia.
They're tired of white guys in general.
Yeah.
All right. So how did J.D. Vance respond?
So J.D. Vance responded. He didn't say a word. He just responded with a picture. And that picture is the meme of him with the goofy looking face that's all cheruby and round. I'm trying to get that to focus there. But you and it's the only appropriate response to a statement that is so dumb.
That stupid picture. I was thought
like,
Brad said J.D. Vance responded. And so I said, "Oh, really? Oh, let's talk about it." And I found out, it was just that dumb meme picture of him that doesn't say anything. When there was that video going around of Trump showing the U.S. Constitution to somebody from NBC News or something.
Yeah.
And somebody took that video.
Laura Ingraham?
Was it Laura Ingraham?
It might have, because I know he gave her a tour of the White House.
Well, whoever he was showing it to, it became a video where he pulls back that curtain, and it's that picture of J.D. Vance with that stupid Dutch boy haircut. And man, that is like burned into my memory.
It's so funny.
Here is Joy Reid. Brad pulled this. This is great. I mean, this is good research stuff here that he did. He pulled a video of Joy Reid after blasting Yale for taking J.D. Vance as a DEI hire, I guess. I don't even know. Here is her from a while back talking about DEI concerning somebody else.
As many times as I have been called DEI or an affirmative action baby and all that, you know what I never get? Mad. Because I actually am very much in favor of DEI. I don't take that as an insult because I understand that means that I'm just damn excellent and innovative. And yeah, I am DEI. I'm bringing diversity, and that's bringing something great. You're not insulting me. If you say, oh, you're an affirmative action person that got into Harvard, I'm like, yeah, I got into Harvard with affirmative action, and Yale, and Brown, and also, Vassar, and the University of Denver.
She got into all those universities. First of all, she just said that she literally the same university she was just blasting J.D. Vance for getting into, that she got into Yale apparently because she was a DEI ad. So
she's just the most ironically named person in media.
If you're on the left, you've got to be apologizing for Joy Reid. I mean, you have to be glad that she lost her job, of all people, because she's so bad. Look, I get there are certain people who are really good at carrying your cause. Same on the right. There's certain people that you're like, yeah, that dude's awesome. Charlie Kirk was one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, he was amazing at making the point. Donald Trump oddly is too. He's not like a great debater, but he's just so charismatic and like he's just a TV guy.
Yeah.
And like he pulls no punches, like at UN yesterday. He doesn't care. He just says it. Joy Reid has got to be like your kryptonite if you're on the left, because she's awful. She's got so many of those things. Anyway, thanks for pulling those, Brad. We are going to take a short break. We're at the end of the hour here. So in exactly an hour, we're going to give you the results of our poll. How long do you think Jimmy Kimmel will stay on the air? there are a few options there. We will talk about that, of course, when we come back, too. And a weird little thing here we're going to do. There's been some movies made over the years that were made and never released. I'm going to give you the plots and who's in these movies and see if you would watch this or you want it released because you couldn't see it.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. Where do you go for your annual eye health examination? Ophthalmology Associates, of course. Doctors Greg Birdie and Ranjan Malhotra. Dr. Robert Bersati, he's the one I saw. Or Dr. Andrew Royer. They are available to you and are there to take care of all your vision needs at Ophthalmology Associates. They're on Manchester Road, a half-mile west of 270. Your vision is their business at Ophthalmology Associates. In fact, many of their patients are doctors themselves. That's why they call themselves the doctors, Ophthalmology Associates. Are your eyes itchy and scratchy? It could be more than just allergies. They're the leaders in dry eye diagnosis and treatment. They're the leaders in LASIK and discussing those procedures. And if you're having difficulty reading or driving at night, you have glare from oncoming headlights, could be early signs of cataracts, and they can talk to you about multifocal lens implants. Ophthalmology Associates, youridoc.com.
If it's time for new windows, there's only one place to call. That is Window World. Mark Cox here. Call my friends at Window World at 314-993-1800 for your free estimate today. If you have any questions, they'll be glad to send someone out to explain all of it to you. You can even schedule right online at windowworldstl.com. You know, there's a lot of high-interest financing out there, but here's what Window World's doing. Right now, they're offering 18 up to 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. You can't beat that. You also get a lifetime warranty that covers all of the parts, the glass breakage, and labor. Who else stands behind their product like that? Over half the appointments Window World will set this year are from previous customers or referrals from those customers. That is a testimony to their customer service, their quality, and their commitment to creating loyal customers. That's what you get with Window World. Call them at 314-993-1800, windowworldstl.com.
Are you nearing retirement and don't know if you have enough money saved to retire? That is scary. Do you have a written retirement financial plan in place? Well, when it comes to retirement planning, the trusted team at Financial and Tax Architects are the best. They've helped people all over St. Louis retire with confidence. And that's what you want. You want to retire with confidence. Now, they offer a one-night, 2.5-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. They hold these at colleges over the St. Louis area and in Illinois. No cost, no obligation, just learning. And at this class, you learn how to avoid costly mistakes, how to maximize your income, how to reduce taxes in retirement. So call them today, 314-888-5101, or visit fta-ria.com and take the first step toward a smarter retirement. 314-888-5101.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Call to action from the Vice President. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. During a planned visit to North Carolina, Vice President J.D. Vance just saying political violence has gotten out of control and must be condemned after a deadly shooting earlier today at an ICE facility in Dallas. And he's sending this message to Democrat leaders.
If you want to stop political violence, stop attacking our law enforcement as the Gestapo. If you want to stop political violence, stop telling your supporters that everybody who disagrees with you is a Nazi. If you want to stop political violence, look in the mirror. That's the way that we stop political violence in this country, and we got to do it.
In Dallas, investigators say a gunman opened fire on an ICE detention and processing location early this morning.
The FBI is now investigating this as a targeted act. Homeland Security says that before 7 a.m., a sniper started shooting from a nearby rooftop and fired indiscriminately at the ICE facility, including a van that was in the Sally Port. DHS says 3 detainees in that van were shot. The gunman then turned the gun on himself.
Fox's Brooke Taylor in Dallas. Officials just confirming 1 detainee was killed, not 2 as earlier reported. Bullets found near the suspect's body had anti-ICE messaging. He's identified as a 29-year-old man from Oklahoma. One of the biggest ABC affiliate station owners, Nexstar, says it will keep preempting Jimmy Kimmel's late night show for now. Kimmel Kimmel's at times tearful remarks during a return last night, also falling short for Turning Point USA spokesperson Andrew Colvett, who tells Fox.
All he had to do was say, I'm sorry, I won't do it again, I will do better. Instead, he was defiant. He parsed his words. He tried to thread a needle and play both sides. And that's not how we get healing in this country.
Meantime, Vice President Vance just denying any government pressure to suspend Kimmel, calling the FCC chair's recent comments on social media a joke. America is listening to Fox News.
Stop settling for weak sound. It's time to level up your game and bring the boom. Hit the town with the ultra-durable LG X Boom portable speaker and enjoy vibrant sound wherever you go. Elevate your listening experience to new heights because, let's be real, your music deserves it. The future of sound is now with LG X Boom. And for a limited time, save 25% at LG.com with code FALL25. Bring the boom. X Boom.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
A slow improvement in our wet weather pattern is starting to take place. Still a little shaky this afternoon, but things are getting better. Mostly cloudy skies, a couple of scattered showers and thunder showers, though certainly not raining all the time. 77 for the high, mostly cloudy tonight. 62 Thursday, partly sunny, maybe a spot shower. That's about it. A lot of dry time Thursday. 75. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 56 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance and installation, and heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. AirComfortService.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Oh, yeah, it is the moment you have been waiting for.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom.
Annie's out. Ryan and Brad are in.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
This is the Mannie Frey Show.
I know Brad just mentioned it in the time check at the end of last hour, but the Turning Point USA SIUE Vigil for Charlie Kirk is happening tonight, this evening at 6:30, and that is at the Madison County Courthouse. And we are talking to you guys right now on the YouTube live chat. Some of you saying, I think Ron's saying, outstanding. Thank you. I will be there wearing the Annie Frey Show t-shirt. So we look forward to seeing you guys there. And other people saying there are other vigils going on tonight, too. I don't know much about the other ones. If there are, feel free to share that with us as well. We do know that the one in Illinois is happening on the Madison County Courthouse in Edwardsville steps at 6:30 tonight. So there you go. Just wanted to remind you about that. Now, this is a weird topic that I'm bringing to the table here. I found a list of a bunch of movies that have been made and never released for a variety of reasons.
Okay. And
from what I read, a lot of times it's that the studio has spent X amount on this. And let's say they spent $100 million. That's a pretty high budget. But let's say they spent $100 million on a movie. And some of these actually are pretty high budgets.
Yeah.
And then they realize, oh, shoot, we probably are not going to make back $100 million on this movie. So our tax write-off, let's say that's 50% of that. You can write it off and say, oh, that's going to save us $50 million on the write-off. If they say, well, then releasing it's going to cost more because you got to distribute it, then we'll make back. Then will we make more than $50 million on this if we release it? If the answer is no, then the movie goes into the bin and it just sits and it never gets released.
Huh.
Unless there's a public outcry that says, oh, no, that movie exists. We want it.
So these aren't potential movies that were cast. They actually were produced, and
these are movies fully made,
ready to go,
in the can, ready for viewing.
Oh, dang.
That have never been seen. And I mean, what a weird list. I
hope some of these are good, because the movies that have come out recently haven't been.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to explain the plots of these and a little bit of the background of maybe why it didn't come out. And then you tell me whether you think that you would watch this movie, because it exists and you could like pressure them to release it. The first one, and this is why I actually dove into this topic, is a movie. I mentioned this on my show over the weekend, but I didn't get into the rest of these because I didn't have time. But the first one is a movie, and this one's weird because it's not a feature-length film. It's a short film that was made in 2015 by Robert Rodriguez, who's a big, famous director and makes good movies, and John Malkovich. Now, John Malkovich is known for making really weird experimental stuff.
John Malkovich.
For the most part. I mean, he's been in some leads and stuff too. But they made a movie in 2015 for Louis VIII Cognac. It's a short film.
I don't know this one.
And the point of the movie, here's what's crazy about it, is that it's part of a campaign for Remy Martin, which is an alcohol cognac. It takes 100 years to, I guess, properly make this brand of Louis VIII.
Wow.
Or something like that. And so it's all a marketing scheme, but it's totally working because now I'm interested in it. And I'm talking about it on the radio. But they made the movie in 2015, and it's all about the future. So it's meant to mirror the amount of time it takes to make this alcohol, but the movie is predicting what the future will be.
So the cognac was made now.
In 2015.
And the movie's set 100 years from that.
The movie is set both now and 100 years from now.
Okay.
And it's like a time travel film, but it's not it's probably like a 20-minute movie with Robert Rodriguez as director and John Malkovich as the actor in it. The movie will not be released until 2115, when all of these people are dead.
Okay.
So it has a release date of 2115, exactly 100 years after they made it.
Okay.
Isn't that bizarre?
That's bizarre. I like that concept.
It doesn't say that in this article right here, but the way they're doing this too is that they're actually making the tickets to the film be a part of people's inheritance. So if you have a ticket,
so you could buy a ticket and leave it to your.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the only way you can get a ticket, because you won't be able to buy one at the time. You have to buy one now.
That is phenomenal.
And then pass it down through your generations to your family, who will be able to attend the screening.
So that interests me. I would see that movie in 2115.
Heck yes. And the thing about this one is, this isn't the studio thing that I was just talking about. This is a marketing thing.
Right.
And it's totally cool. And I would absolutely see this too, but you can see clips of this movie on the internet. They're going to release the whole thing, but because it's a marketing scheme, you can watch full trailers of it.
Yeah.
And it looks cool.
It's such an interesting concept, because we are just now getting to the point where if you go back 100 years, you can see video.
Yeah, right.
It would be 1925. So you're just now getting into motion picture.
Uh-huh.
So it's interesting to me, because I would the historian in me would love to be able to see video of George Washington and, the newsreels of that stuff. If they did that like they did for World War II, that would have been incredibly interesting to be able to see. I've seen videos of veterans of the Civil War talking about their experiences. It's super interesting stuff. So yeah, this would pique my interest.
It's so interesting too to think back to like the 60s. If you watch a movie from the 60s that's about the future, what they thought the future would be like, and about holographic screens and stuff. And it's like, what's so interesting is we've actually gotten that technology now. We're not great at it yet, but we're perfecting that technology to where it does exist, and there's augmented reality and all these things. But we still just like watching stuff on screens.
Yeah.
For the most part, that's still how we consume content.
Yeah, we don't want to be totally inundated by it.
Yeah, and maybe that'll change in the next 100 years or 90 years now.
VR didn't take off.
But yeah, right. VR was supposed to be this huge thing, and it's still there, but it's a novelty.
Well, it's 3D too. Like 3D movies were supposed to be the thing, and then they made 3D TVs. You remember 3D TVs? And you had to get the glasses, and now
it just didn't go.
Didn't go.
It's still basically just watching things on screens. It's a lot shorter than it used to be. It's a bunch of 10-second cat videos. But it's still just that. So we'll see what that is like. Nobody knows. But the visuals of it, you can go look it up right now. The movie is called, I think it's called 100 Years. And you just type in John Malkovich. You can see some stuff that's already out there on this movie. It apparently has been for 10 years. I didn't even know about it.
That's crazy.
So here's another one. It is called, this one's kind of famous right now. It's called Coyote versus Acme. Have you seen this one?
No.
It's like Roger Rabbit in that it's a mixture of cartoon and real, and it's a movie made with, I'm trying to find the name of the guy here, Will Forte.
Okay.
And this movie was made a few years ago, and everybody was really excited about it. And after the initial announcement of the movie, they canned it because for whatever reason they thought this is not going to go over well, Coyote versus Acme. And then since then, this was probably 4 or 5 years, there's been this massive campaign to release the movie. So this is where the market kind of steps in and says, hey, you have the whole thing out there. We'd like to see it. And here's what the tipping point was. Somebody associated, the filmmaker Brian Duttfeld, said in the Hollywood Reporter that he thought Coyote was really similar to Barbie in a lot of ways.
Okay.
And then people started to take notice at the studios, not just audiences, and say, oh, it could be another Barbie because Barbie made a lot of money. And it's really fun, popcorn kind of way. Barbie only made $1.4 billion at the global box office, so it made sense that Warner Brothers is now considering releasing Coyote versus Acme. And if you don't know what that, it's the Roadrunner and Coyote. Wile E. Coyote and Will Forte are in this movie. And it actually just sounds like it's a fun movie. I don't know why you wouldn't release it after making it.
I think the title needs some work.
Coyote versus Acme. Well, it's about a trial with Wile E. Coyote.
Oh, okay. So it's Coyote v.
versus Acme.
Okay.
Yeah, the fictional company.
Okay, that makes sense. So now you're talking about maybe he comes out and he's got a lawsuit against Acme because they kept blowing him up, or
so it's a goofy movie, but it sounds like it's fun. And if there's enough pushback, it sounds like it is maybe going to come out.
Might be neat.
So we might see that one. How about Batgirl?
Pass.
Did you know this got made?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Yeah, this was in the Times, DC, of course, but this was when DC's...
I remember when they canned it.
Do you?
Yes.
What do you remember from memory?
So this was, what is that actress? Is it Rose something or other?
Her name is Leslie Grace.
Okay. Leslie Grace. Yeah, I remember her.
I don't know who she is. She looks like Halle Berry.
And and I just remember, well, no, because it was the other lady first, and then they recast her, and then finally, into the trash.
Oh, that's more than I've got here. It says, why was Batgirl canceled? Largely comes down to the aforementioned tax break, with the studio clearly, I kind of explained this, believing they would make more money writing the movie off instead of releasing it. Batgirl, which was made for $90 million, was initially intended to go straight to streaming, but the company decided to move away from those sort of big-budget streaming exclusive because that was right in the wake of Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and The Flash, which just bombed.
Yeah, they were going to release this right as these superhero movies were crashing. Like, they're kind of bad now. Not a lot of people like to go see them, but this was right as that was starting to happen.
And by the way, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and The Flash, both pretty good movies. I watched both of them.
They're all right.
I liked The Flash quite a bit. They were not traditional superhero movies.
Yeah, I don't think I would have liked The Flash in theaters, though.
I think you might be right. It was fun to watch at home because you knew you weren't committing much to it.
Yeah.
Here's the last one, then we'll get to a break here. This movie is called All-Star Weekend. It is Jamie Foxx, and it's a road trip movie. The plot is Jamie Foxx would have traveled across the country to see LeBron James play in the WNBA.
I'm in.
Whoops. Was that
Release
Freudian?
the film.
Did I accidentally do that or on purpose? I don't know. LeBron James play in the NBA's All-Star festivities. Along the way, Jamie Foxx's character would have met all sorts of colorful characters with a cast that would have included the likes of Robert Downey Jr., Eva Longoria, Jeremy Piven, and Gerard Butler. So a lot of people in this kind of goofy road trip movie. The problem, though, is that Downey was playing a Mexican character.
Oh.
Which involved the Iron Man star donning brown face.
Again.
After he'd played blackface in Tropic Thunder. Apparently, this made it too difficult for the film to give a proper release, even though Jamie Foxx and everybody associated with the movie was okay with it. Foxx stated in an interview later that he said it's been tough with the lay of the land when it comes to comedy. We're trying to break open the sensitive corners where people can go back to laughing again. And yet, they agreed to make the whole movie with that in mind.
Yeah.
And then, once it came time to release it, said,
they got the cold feet.
They got the cold feet. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
There's quite a few more of these. Maybe we can return to this at some point and see if they would be movies you'd watch. Last one. Yeah, just last one. Okay, last one.
Okay.
Gore, as in Al Gore, a biopic made in 2017. After Gore had finished filming, the star of Gore, playing Al Gore, was none other than Kevin Spacey.
Oh.
After it finished filming, Anthony Rapp came forward to allege how Kevin Spacey made unwanted advances toward him when he was only 14. Other men came forward with similar stories about Spacey, and the rest is history. So there is a biopic of Al Gore out there starring Kevin Spacey that if you want to see it, you go pressure the studio to release it. But I have a feeling that you're going to want to see Coyote versus Acme way ahead of seeing the Al Gore biopic. We're going to take a short break here. Ethan's local and sports segment is coming up next, and that is what will kick off the rest of, it's not a great way of putting it, kicking off the rest of the 2 o'clock hour here at 2:17. That's why I get paid the big bucks to be a co-host and not a main host.
Not easy, is it?
Well, he's coming up next. Stay here. It's the Annie Frey Show.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hi, it's Mark Cox. When I endorse a product or service on the radio, I take it seriously. I do my research. I did the same when I first met Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty over 5 years ago. Gloria is here in studio today, and I'll ask the same question I asked you when we first met and before you helped me sell my home. Gloria, tell us, what sets you apart from other agents?
Well, number one is my guaranteed offers. I'm so confident that I'll sell your home at 100% of market value, or I'll pay the difference. Number two is I already have the buyers, so your home may already be sold. I literally have thousands of buyers in my Buyers in Waiting program. This is how I'm able to create higher demand, more offers, and that means more money in your pocket.
Friends, get to know Gloria Lou like I have. Upfront written guarantees with the least hassle. Call Gloria Lou right now at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast.
Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Hold up. Check it out.
Sports and local.
Hold up. Check it out. It's Ethan.
We did that yesterday.
Yeah, it's the same one as yesterday. I did that on purpose. I was going to play a different one, but it took me a second to find that one.
But I panicked.
Yeah,
No, I didn't panic. That's the one I was looking for. You know why? Because I'm going to be gone the next few days, and I want you to just play that one every single day so I don't have to make more new ones. It's
that's on
about
brand.
me.
Literally just outed himself for not doing his job.
I got to make so many of those dang things.
I can't believe that even the first month probably of doing it, that you made a new one every day.
Yeah, that's one of the first times we've ever done. We did 1 week of best ofs, like the favorites.
Yep.
Aside from that, that's the first time I played one over again, and we're just going to keep doing that one the rest of the week because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of this segment.
Me too.
What's new in local and sports, Ethan?
That's the look at Ethan. In local and sports to start off, we're going to take it somewhere we haven't taken it very much.
Ooh.
Weather.
Ooh, local weather.
Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe signed an executive order on Tuesday declaring a drought alert for the state. According to
We've gotten a lot
officials,
of rain the last couple days.
Well,
yesterday and today, but not before that.
According to officials, much of the state is experiencing either moderate, severe, or extreme droughts throughout 85 counties, including the city of St. Louis. A map of the drought in Missouri from the National Integrated Drought Information System.
Say that's
that 5
really
times
specific
fast.
to this topic.
Say that 5 times fast. Shows much of the northern areas of the state experiencing abnormally dry conditions, worsening towards mid and southern Missouri.
Of course, we have a whole. What's that organization called again? The Drought Commission.
It is called the National Integrated Drought Information System.
I bet we pay $1 billion a year for them to go need rain.
NIDIS.
If you were listening to this show and you were part of the National Integrated Drought Organization,
We appreciate you.
We love you.
Thank you for the work that you do.
You could sponsor us. That'd be fine. And we would talk about you in glowing terms.
Literally all the time. Please pay us. In more serious news, additional charges have been issued following the fatal shooting of Colin Brown, the hockey player that attended CBC High School.
How long ago was that?
This happened last November, I believe.
It's been a while, yeah.
While Brown was shot, if you don't remember, while he and his father were driving home on I-55 from a hockey game. Like I said, November of 2024. He was initially at the time critically injured, and a couple days later he passed away. So on Wednesday, another suspect was charged, the name James Roach, 26 years old, with first-degree murder, first-degree assault, unlawful use of a weapon, and 3 counts of armed criminal action.
When you say another suspect, does that mean this is a second person?
This is a fourth.
A fourth person?
Yeah.
Remind me of what they determined so far. Do you remember? Because
I do not have.
If they've got
off the
3
top of my head,
people,
I don't have it.
Was this a random shot, or was this a group that tried where they were up to something?
If I remember correctly, weren't they driving down the highway?
Colin and his father?
Yeah.
Yes, they were. But as far as what was going on that led to the shots being fired, I don't have that. I don't know that information.
I was just trying to recall because it's been almost a year, and I can't remember all the details. I remember the story. I don't remember all the details of the story.
Yeah, I don't have the information with me right now over the first 3 and what they were charged with and how exactly it went down. I remember there was a period of time following where they didn't have a lot of information.
Yeah, I remember
they
that.
were trying to figure out.
It's one of the reasons we talked about it for a while. I don't know that we talked about it in the Annie Frey Show a lot, but I think local news was covering this quite a bit because they didn't know.
But the fact that we're nearing a year later, we're 10 months later, and they have 4 guys that have been charged now. That is encouraging that the prosecutors are doing their job. In other news, this kind of we didn't get to talk about this, but playing a little bit of catch up here. This happened about a week and a half ago, but St. Louis was able to secure new FEMA funds to support private property debris removal and cleanup efforts following, of course, that May tornado.
Dang, that's been a while.
I know, and there is still process.
So this is more funds for it.
Yes,
but it takes a long time to clean up after these storms.
There's still a lot of houses with no roofs.
We had that hailstorm in March, and there's still houses in my neighborhood that haven't been repaired from that.
Expedited disaster assistance was approved not this past Thursday, but the Thursday before, so we're nearing 2 weeks now, according to announcements from Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe and Senator Eric Schmidt. The funding will help with tornado recovery operations in St. Louis while utilizing FEMA and U.S. Army Corps of Engineers technical expertise to ensure safe, efficient, and accountable debris removal operations.
We're in Illinois. You're in Missouri now, Ethan. But so we didn't get to see that at all. Although we were on when it was happening. I remember that day in March. But Ethan, did you see a lot of damage? Like when you drive home, I know it wasn't like right by you, but I remember driving through there about a month and a half afterwards, like late April, and it was near Washington University and like Del Mar and all that. And the golf course on like next to the university there in Forest Park, it looked like a war zone still. It was terrible.
We went and we saw a show. First off, I do not see anything on my drive from. I take 70 east, or excuse me, 70 west out to St. Charles. I did not see any damage even immediately following it. But we went to the Muni not that long after, and I mean, I was absolutely amazed by the amount of tree debris that there was.
Yeah, Forest Park.
A bunch of tree debris in Forest Park. And some of these, I mean, massive trees just completely uprooted. And you're like, holy cow, that tree's been there for probably 100 years. And it just, I mean, with like nothing ripped out of the ground.
Yeah, that's true. I remember this.
You can still, I'll say this too, I've mentioned this as well. When you are, and you know, you'll probably be able to see this next week. When you fly back into St. Louis, you can still, when you look down over the city, see blue tarps over a lot of the buildings. You can see that still the path of that tornado just based off of where those tarps are covering homes that still have not had their roofs repaired. Really sad.
Last one?
Yeah. Boeing is to relocate their FA-18 modification work out of St. Louis by 2027.
Oh, no.
This information is relatively, I think it just came out this morning. All local the program was just recently started, I guess, for the Super Hornet service life modification program, and all the local work is going to be ending in 2026. The company said the shift is part of a long-term expansion plan for its St. Louis site, which will focus on programs including a bunch of different aircrafts, munitions. Boeing is considering San Antonio, Jacksonville, and San Diego as locations to take on work. The vice president of Air Dominance, I guess one of the companies partnered with Boeing, so it was said, our expansion plans across the St. Louis site triggered the execution of a multi-year strategic plan requiring some of this relocation work. So I'm sure there's going to be more information to come out on that in the upcoming weeks.
Don't love them moving all operations out of here.
Yeah, no, I don't either, but it sounds like there's a greater purpose behind it for St. Louis specifically, and based off of what I've seen.
That they're retooling to produce other things here.
You know what? Now, this is not an official report, but I have heard that they moved at least some of, if not all of, their media operations out of St. Louis. Now, that's, again, not an official report. It's just based on people that I know who work there. And the reason that I found that out is because I was actually going to go work at Boeing, and I pretty much had a job locked right when I started here at 97.1 on the Dave Glover Show in 2018. But they hadn't officially made the offer yet, and the Dave Glover Show made me the offer. And I was like, well, I got to take the job that's for sure thing. I would have made a lot more money there. But it's possible that my job would have not been in St. Louis anymore either. Yeah. Based on what I knew about some of those.
That media job in Boeing would have been cool. I bet you would have seen some cool stuff.
Darn right.
Yeah, like
much
planes.
Cooler than here.
But we're glad to have you, Ryan.
Thanks.
We're happy to have you.
Thank you for being my hollaback girl. We are going to take a short break. Oh, yeah, one more story, please.
Yeah, let's once again mention that Turning Point USA's chapter at SIUE is hosting a vigil for Charlie Kirk tonight, 6:30 this evening at the Madison County Courthouse in Edwardsville. So if you're in the area, go out and support and remember the life of Charlie Kirk. We also, Annie had mentioned yesterday wanting to discuss the White House blocking U.S. Steel's decision to stop processing steel at the Granite City plant. Annie was really hot about that yesterday, so I wanted to pause on that one and wait until she's back to discuss it because it sounded like she had some opinions. So we're going to wait till she gets back to discuss that one further.
And that stinks that I'm not going to be here because I come from a long, this is very true, and you probably didn't know this, I come from a long line of Granite City steelworkers.
Now, that is something that I love picturing is you being a steel worker.
Yeah, like swinging that hammer with a
getting
hard
some
hat.
Zoolander vibes here.
Tiny and shiny.
I didn't work there. I don't know if you can tell. Because that's my picture of what it means to work there. I could literally
Not
call
a coal
my dad
miner
right
in the
now.
1800s.
I could call my dad right now and be like, "That's right, right?" And he would be like, "No, you stupid idiot." All right, short break. We're gonna come right back and do a segment with Trisha. This is one that maybe you've heard us do once before. It's called Serious Questions, where we bring a question and we ask something very, very serious about that topic. Stay here. We'll be right back.
When it comes to roofing, you can't go wrong with Corel Roofing. Mark Cox here. My friend Curtis Corel came out, looked at my roof, worked with my insurance adjuster. I got a new roof, new gutters, and even new screens on some of my windows. Curtis specializes in working with insurance companies. Even if you've been denied, he's often able to work with these insurance adjusters to find a way to get it covered. Here's something else Curtis tells me. With cooler weather coming, you need to be aware of something. Roofs cannot be installed if the temperature dips below 45 degrees. Some companies go ahead and do this anyway, but you're going to have problems down the road. So if you're concerned that your roof won't make it through the winter, call Curtis Corel today. Corel Roofing has crews with over 20 years of experience. They pay attention to detail, and they can work with all the luxury line roofing as well. Call Curtis at 314-222-9529. That's 222-9529. Or on Facebook at Corel Roofing Co.
You know your customers. Ralph likes his coffee black on Fridays, but Mondays he takes a little cream. Jennifer comes in every 3 years when her lease is up to get the newer and better model. And for some reason, pepperoni pizza sells like crazy on Friday nights. Who knew? At Odyssey, we have the expertise to get your media plan done right. With ads like you're hearing right now, to targeted social media campaigns, search engine optimization, and location-based advertising. Advertise with Odyssey and help us grow your business. Visit ads.odyssey.com.
This is attorney Todd Nissenholtz of Kaufman Townsley. We know the loss and the cost of an accident because when an insurance company offers a lowball settlement, we go to war for you and take the fight to the insurance company. Call 314-500-5000.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
If you're looking for the best eye care in St. Louis, look no further than the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andrew Royer. Make your appointment today at youridoc.com or call 314-966-5000. Ophthalmology Associates.
Mark Cox here. Let me introduce you to my friends at the Lit Cigar Lounge in St. Louis, where luxury meets comfort. Premium hand-rolled cigars, an extensive selection of rare bourbons and whiskeys and craft cocktails. It's comfortable for non-smokers, too. They have a state-of-the-art ventilation system. They have private lockers and live music every Friday night, perfect for date nights or business meetings or just winding down. Visit litstl.com.
Today's YouTube live chat poll. How long do you think Jimmy Kimmel will stay on the air? Will he be canceled within the month? Will he be canceled within 6 months? Canceled within a year? Or he's back for good? We want to know what you think, so jump on Annie's YouTube page and vote in the poll on the live stream. And then leave us a comment telling us why you voted the way you voted. And I know Ethan just spoke about this, but I'm going to talk about it again because we really, really want you to come out. Turning Point USA's SIUE Edwardsville chapter is holding a vigil for Charlie Kirk, and it'll be tonight at 6:30 at the Madison County Courthouse in Edwardsville, Illinois. Show up and show your support for Charlie Kirk and for Turning Point USA. The time is 2:36. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. From Collinsville to Chesterfield, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
This is a great song, and I want to make a point about the Foo Fighters that I've made on the show before. Their first 2 albums, fantastic. After that, not much out there. Couple songs here and there. Fight me if you want to. Trisha is in the studio. So is Brad and Ethan and myself. Annie is off today. We are going to do a segment here called Serious Questions. And we have a little sounder that plays when we do
Serious question.
Because each of us bring a story, and we have no idea what each other's stories are. But at the end of reporting what the story is, we ask a
serious question.
And then we have to answer it. So, who wants to go first? Trisha?
Sure.
As our guest of honor?
Do this. Mine is a really classy story about why you shouldn't pee in the shower.
Okay.
Pelvic floor expert Dr. Alicia Jeffrey Thomas explains that peeing in the shower can create an association in your brain between running water and the need to pee, potentially leading to leak issues later on. Additionally, she points out that women may not be able to properly empty their bladder while standing up. A hygiene expert also weighed in and said, don't do it. Serious question.
Serious question.
Will you admit to peeing in the shower?
No. Thank you for asking it that way.
That phrase was phrased. No, I'll admit it. I do it.
What? You can't do that?
Yes, I can. Don't look at me that way.
Ethan, will you admit to it?
No, because I don't do it.
What? Okay.
Not at home. Let's see. I'm trying to think of a place where I do pee in the shower. Because I've done it before.
Wait, you do it like on the road?
I would say I am more likely to do it
in somebody else's shower.
You do it when you're visiting others.
No, I'm thinking.
That's what you just said.
Are you, Brian, are you really pretending like you don't pee in the shower? Is that the hill you're going to die on here?
Are you saying that you do?
Yes, of course.
I did not until
That seems more difficult for
not
girls.
too long ago. I just realized that this, you know what changed it for me is I realized the plumbing all goes to the same place. And I was like,
why not then?
I was like, this doesn't matter.
I clean the shower, and I mean, I soap afterward. It's fine. I think everybody pees in the shower, but maybe I'm wrong.
If I were showering at for example, a place like Raging Rivers, okay? A place like that. Large, public bathroom, and you're already just rinsing off quick. Yeah, I'll pee there.
Wait,
wow.
what?
In your swimsuit?
No. In the bathroom, in the actual shower, in the shower area.
Down at Raging Rivers?
In the shower area.
What about in the wave pool?
No, not there. My God, we're talking about bathrooms, you goon.
I'm just making sure we are. Because when you said, hey, Raging Rivers.
I won't do it at home, but I'll go to Raging Rivers and do it.
Every time I shower at Raging Rivers.
Hold on. We were This is so
please
dumb.
explain.
This is so dumb because we are talking in the context of peeing in the shower. So why would that not continue to any shower or place I'm talking about?
Well,
I'm
why
not
wouldn't
talking
you do it at home then?
I just don't.
Because that's mine.
I don't know. It's never been a thing.
There are other people in that one.
My thoughts are That's not mine. I won't do it there.
I don't know.
But
It's
at
already,
home. I'll do it in mine.
It's already nasty. I mean, what's the big deal to wait another minute or pee before the shower at home? If I'm at a public shower like that, then like why not let it fly?
I think that the exact opposite of what you're saying is the point you should be making on the
Probably.
radio.
I'm just I have probably.
So never go to Raging Rivers with Ethan.
Yeah, and don't let Ethan shower in your shower.
Yeah.
I don't
His shower's clean though.
Maybe like
Let's all shower at
maybe
Ethan's.
like a hotel shower. Maybe I would pee in that.
Dude, you're digging a hole. Don't do this. You got your whole life ahead
Am I
of you.
going to be judged for this? Am I going to be
He's going to be running for president someday.
ruined from the
That's the guy that pees in everybody else's shower.
But he won't pee in his.
I don't get what's so crazy.
The ad
about
writes itself.
I don't get what's so crazy about this.
You'll see when Ryan puts the imaging together.
Yeah, can you make a political ad for that?
Oh, heck yeah. That's coming soon. Brad, you want to go next?
Yeah. So have you guys heard of pocket packing? This
Sounds
is
dirty.
Not.
This is nope. This is a new trend, and Gen Z and millennials and everybody names
Ew.
everything. And so this is basically whenever you go to a store, or not a store, but like a restaurant, a Taco Bell or wherever, and you're like, I need hot sauce for the house. So you take a lot of hot sauce and you stock up your pantry with their stuff. Or they even go and mention straws, cutlery, any of that sort of stuff, where you just like
It's called pocket packing?
pocket packing is what the article says. This is a Fox News article.
Now, can you do that like in a regular store just with condoms?
I don't think you can. I think that's shoplifting.
Well,
Okay.
what if they have like hot dogs for sale or something there, and there are like little packets of mustard available?
Well, maybe
at a
I don't know.
regular
I don't know how
store?
that works at a regular store. I don't know how that.
Could you
works,
take
but-
hot dogs?
But the idea is
I
that
really
you
want a
are
hot dog.
you are taking way more than what you need of the provided condiments, the complimentary condiments, so that you don't have to buy that stuff for yourself.
I
This
only
is
do
the-
that when I'm not at home.
This is the trend. All
I'm
right.
in somebody else's store.
Yes.
Or at a Raging
Well, that's how
River.
that works.
It's the dumbest thing
Do
ever.
it at Raging
This is
Rivers.
so stupid.
I only do that at baseball games, and I bring like a full empty, ketchup bottle.
Listen,
and
I
just fill it up with the pumps.
I have no shame in my comments. Zero whatsoever.
I'm not even talking about that stuff. Gosh, why do you think it's about you?
Because
So-
you literally just said Raging Rivers.
Serious question.
Serious question.
Ethan, do you steal hot dog packets from Raging Rivers as well?
That's a
I
good
ain't
question.
been there in hot dog packets. What the hell
yeah,
is
the,
a hot dog
the little
packet?
mustard packets and ketchup packets. Do you do this?
Did you
Okay,
hear
that's
what
a
Brad's
ketchup
story
packet.
was at
Yes,
all?
I did.
Oh, hot
That's
dog
not.
packet.
He
I
said
got you.
hot dog
yeah,
packet.
Fair
I
enough.
messed
Fair
that
enough.
up.
I'm not listening.
Let me rephrase
Did
that.
you listen to anything he said?
No, I
Serious
didn't. I was still
question.
stuck on the Raging
Serious
Rivers
question.
situation.
Ethan, do you steal the condiment packets from Raging Rivers?
No, that's
That's wrong.
No, they're complimentary.
I will say this. I believe that Ryan does this because of how many packets are in his desk, and I
This is
steal
real.
them from Ryan's desk.
Now I tell you what.
What is
now
the like double? I'm like double pocket. I'm like
Yeah.
bootleg pocket packing.
I use like the cascade effect.
Yeah.
I take them and then you take them from
Great.
I like one that I would take peanut butter packets or the little like boxes or whatever you call them from like a hotel breakfast. That's what I would take.
Yeah, so you only do it on the road. Once
He's
again.
peed in your shower, stole your peanut butter. I'm out.
Wait, you go to hold on. Your life is so crazy to me. Then you go to like a complimentary breakfast at a hotel and stuff your pockets with the things.
That's not
you don't
what
just
stealing.
Stuff it. I'm gonna take a couple of extra
He's got
ones.
a full bottle of syrup. That
like
he
you got all
stole.
those
He's
little
like,
like boxes of
peanut-
cereal.
no, the
and
Oh
you
yeah,
take
I
the
definitely
bowls.
snag those.
I'll take an apple once in a while with me. And then I won't eat it. and
Just
I'll
for
throw it
fun.
away.
And it'll
I'm
rot
taking at
somewhere in
least a
your car.
couple of yogurts. I'm taking a box of cereal, and I'm taking some peanut butter.
I've never heard anybody like pillage the
Yeah.
hotel.
Why?
Oh, that's the
complimentary.
Yeah, I've never.
I got to warn you, those yogurts, they don't last long. You got to eat those pretty much right away.
Yeah, or
Really?
not at all.
Yeah,
It's
don't
a risky little
don't
game.
take those with
Why
you.
is that?
Because they expire and they get hot.
you can't leave them in your car, Ethan.
What's your story?
Okay, fine. This has been the dumbest segment of radio ever.
We're only halfway done.
Teenagers Wu and Tang, who urinated in a Shanghai
What?
restaurant's hot pot, fined more than 230,000 euros.
Finally, this is an old story. Are they finally getting their
They're
In
what?
their what?
Like time, day in court. I don't know. I
just
thought
told you.
somebody would pick it up.
They were fined 230,000 euros. The pair, both 17, were who took turns standing on a table and urinating into the dish in a private dining room at a branch of a restaurant chain in Shanghai, NBC News reports. Serious question.
Serious question.
Would a better punishment than fining them have been forcing the two to eat pea-saturated meals for a year?
Yeah, that would have been a much worse punishment.
Yeah, and that was a good, serious question.
That was a good, serious question because
That's
it made
actually
no
how it's
sense.
supposed to work. Yeah.
There's no judge in the world that would do that.
That's why it was a perfect, serious question.
I sentence you to eat pea-soaked meals from now on because of what you did in that restaurant.
I mean, talk about, I think that you would learn your lesson way more from that.
Oh, certainly. You would stop doing it. All right, last one. Human composting is now legal in New Jersey. Human composting transforms the human body into nutrient-rich soil in about 6 weeks. So I guess you got to let the corpse just kind of sit around for
6 weeks, huh?
6 weeks or so. I don't think the bones are
this
going
would turn you into a tree situation, not a feces
Well,
deal.
listen. At the end of the process, loved ones can scatter the compost in places that are meaningful, like trees or flower gardens, or they suggest house plants.
Oh.
No. Be a little weird, but
especially if the houseplant dies, not to be morbid, but then it's like
you gotta
all,
compost
like,
that,
and then
do it
you're like,
again.
yeah, it's like trauma on top of trauma.
Just for clarification, human composting, like for a houseplant, are you like cutting off a finger and putting it in there?
I
Like,
don't think you know exactly which body part.
They toss you into a pile.
Yeah, I don't think you're like.
is this post cremation? Like, what is?
Instead of cremation.
Yeah, you don't cremate the body.
And
That's
you
why
don't-
it's called human compost.
Okay,
And you
so
don't
you just
compost-
you just dig up the soil and just drop a body in there.
Well, that's kind of how composting works.
I'm just wondering
It's
what
like
the
a
process
pile.
for this
Yeah,
is.
I think that's right. It takes like 50 days, something like that.
It takes 6 weeks, and at the end of the process, loved ones can scatter compost in places that are meaningful to nourish houseplants. So I don't think, to answer your question, Ethan, you can be like, oh, I'm going to take this fern right here and fill it with Aunt Clara's butt cheek. You just get compost, and then you kind of spread it around.
And you take their word for it that it's your loved one and you put it in your houseplant.
Right. Last serious question.
Serious question.
That ever happened to you?
Which part?
The compost, the dead and composted part.
Have I ever been composted?
You ever been composted?
Worst, dumbest radio segment ever. No, I have not been composted.
Trisha, can you finish the show?
No, I
Because I'm on
cannot.
vacation.
In 12 minutes.
All right. We got 12 minutes. And we're going to talk about the poll. How long do you think Jimmy Kimmel will stay on the air? And we'll give you the results of that poll at the end of the show. Stick around. One more great segment of radio coming up on the Annie Frey Show.
97.1 FM Talk welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra and their monumental tour, The Ghost of Christmas Eve, at the Enterprise Center on December 23rd. A portion of the proceeds benefits Sightman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Underdog Fantasy, and football is back, and Underdog is the best place to select entries and win money all season long. And, of course, now you can play in Missouri, and playing on Underdog is easy. Once you download the app, you come up with a username. I'm going to guide you into some bonus credits here in a moment, but when you play on Underdog, you choose whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats. So for football, super easy. Touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. You get your entries right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash, and you can play with as little as $1. Download the app and sign up with the promo code MARKR to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. Again, that's the promo code MARKR. Underdog, make plays, win money. Millions of fans have already won billions making plays on Underdog. Will you be next? Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Major League Baseball realized they needed new rules to help grow and speed up the game. Your retirement strategy may also need updating to keep up with potential tax law changes, Social Security, or whatever curveball Uncle Sam throws your way. Call Ricken Financial for an initial no-cost portfolio x-ray. 314-207-6211. That's 314-207-6211 or online at rickenfinancial.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor.
Tony La Russa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband. He lost weight. More important, cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend went, and she lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months. So does Mark Patrick hypnosis work? Oh yeah, it works. Nothing has changed my life more. Well, except maybe my husband. He's so proud of me. Makes me cry.
Now that you've heard it, what are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking. Guaranteed early bird specials $49.99. That's right, weight loss seminar, Saturday, October 18th at the Marriott St. Louis West in St. Louis at 11 a.m. Registration at 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Registration at 1:30 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Annie Frey, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Range. It's the Annie Frey Show.
I don't think what I have to say is going to make much of a difference. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I have no illusions about changing anyone's mind. But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it, and I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual. That was really the opposite of the point I was trying to make, but I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear, or maybe both. And for those who think I did point a finger, I get why you're upset. If the situation was reversed, there's a good chance I'd have felt the same way. I have many friends and family members on the other side who I love and remain close to, even though we don't agree on politics at all. I don't think the murderer who shot Charlie Kirk represents anyone. This was a sick person who believed violence was a solution, and it isn't. Ever.
Well, that was the first time I've actually heard that clip. I watched a lot of clips. I didn't see that one. I read it. So I read the full transcript of what he said. I didn't realize I'm saying that because I didn't realize how emotional he got in it. But what he says there at the end is that he's not blaming any group. That's not true.
He did.
He did blame a group, and that's what led to this whole thing. So that's false. I am glad to hear that, and I think most of what he said there is probably pretty good, or at least is in the right direction. What do you think?
It's missing 2 words.
Sorry?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you're really sorry, every apology should carry those 2 words. I am sorry. And then you can say, I didn't mean or I didn't intend. That was not my intent, whatever. But it must contain, I'm sorry. So, it's probably as best we would ever expect to get out of him. But, yeah, I think he could have done better.
What do you think about today's YouTube live chat poll, which we'll give you the results of here in just a minute? How long do you think Jimmy Kimmel will stay on the air? Canceled within a month, canceled within 6 months, canceled within a year, or he's back on for good?
So I think he's going to be canceled within a year. And I don't know if canceled's the right word. I think that they're going to run out the clock on his contract, and they're just not going to renew it. Joe Concha made that point in the very first interview that we did today, that it's not worth paying him, what did he say, $16 million to lose $30 million? Now they're going to run out the clock. And you and I kind of said something about this off air too. You have to think about the employees of the show as well. they have jobs and they have families to feed, and it's not fair to them because he was a goob.
Yeah, and that may be one of the reasons he wants the show to come back, is because there are a lot of people employed by the show. The thing is, if it's not making money, it's not going to be around for very long, and it's not making money. So my answer to this is the same as yours. I said canceled within a year simply because his contract expires in May, and my guess is they run that contract out. They might even tell him soon that, yeah, you're going to go through May, just like Colbert, and then it'll be over, because that's what's happening to him. Ethan?
Same exact answer. Identical.
Yeah, it's
Copy and paste
year.
it. Yep. 227 votes on today's YouTube live chat poll. How long do you think Jimmy Kimmel will stay on the air? 42% say canceled within 6 months. 30% say canceled within a year. And then 14% say canceled within a month. And then also 14% say he's back for good.
Wow, that's spread out a lot more than I thought it would be. After we talked about that with Joe Concha and found out his contract ended in May, I thought that a lot of people would go with that. Well, this has been the Annie Frey Show. The Mark Reardon Show is coming up next, and Annie will be back tomorrow. I'll see you next week.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating